Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon, and I usually write games for fun, but we're not going over a game today. We're instead going to be looking over one. Yes, one. Just a single game today. It's a very special game. It's a very special game. Because it's Lancer. It's Lancerino. It's my favorite, mecha game ever. I love Lancer. Lancer's amazing with absolutely... I fucking despise Lancer. But, we'll get to that in a minute. But what warranted this? What 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 prefaced this entire exchange? Well, it's odd. Well, you have a list, so it was on. It was not actually on any list. Yeah, that's the funny thing. It was not actually on any list because this just recently came out. This was actually a fairly recent game in more than a few ways. So I was curious. I saw it and I managed to acquire it, and here we are. Now, first things first, we need to have a little bit of a history lesson real fast. We need to have a little bit of a history lesson. So, what is Lancer? So, Lancer, for lack of a better word, is Massive Press's big game. If you haven't heard of Lancer, you're kind of living under a rock, most likely. Lancer is a mech game, or more accurately, as it would like to claim, it is the mech game, the only one, and the greatest one. And of course, you've probably seen the artwork, you've probably seen all the very pretty designs, and you've seen all the mechs. Look at that. Look, everybody, it's a mech. Oh my god. Oh my goodness, you can see all these crazy things going on. Lancer is actually a it's a very popular game, in fact. And when did Lancer come out? When did Lancer come out? I'm curious. It's not 2001. Lancer TTRPG come out 2019. Successfully kickstarted in 2019, and it's like, okay, all right, released in 2020. So remember, this came out in 2020. This game is only 2 years old in specifics. However, people have been talking about Lancer probably since about 2018. I'd say about 2017, 18 is when the first playtests started coming out, and then 19 is when the Kickstarter, and 2020 is when the game officially came out, and it's kind of taken the world by storm a little bit. Now, before we begin, I'm going to say this right now. Yeah. So, here's the, I'm going to do my best to give you the idea. I do not like Lancer. I'm going to preface this by everything I'm going to be saying the rest of this stream. I want you all to remember this as well. I do not like Lancer. And I do not like Lancer for three very, very specific reasons. The first one is I don't like the mechs. The mechs are weird because they're not stompy. I like me some stompy, heavy, crunchy mechs. I want to hit that, go. I want to hear that sound. I want to hear the thunder. I want to hear when that gun goes off, you hear a cracking noise and the world hears it. It's a horrifying death machine. Lancer's mechs are actually fairly, like, let me see, Lancer actually borrows a lot of its mech design primarily from things like Titanfall, which will get kind of into my second point, which is Lancer's setting is terrible. I should say also setting and system, but Lancer's setting is weird. And usually this is always like prefaced by something else. Like, I do not like Lancer's personal setting. I think Lancer's setting is kind of funky and weird because it has a very bad issue of tone. It doesn't know if it wants to be anime, it doesn't know if it wants to be Western, so it has this bizarre moment where you have shit like this. Anything from Horus is literally powered by, like, thought waves and, like, black hole guns. Horus Armory is bizarre. That's the entire idea, but it's also like we're a super serious hard sci-fi setting at the same time. It wants to have its cake and eat it. This isn't even dealing with the fact that the Union is like the ideal super state and everyone loves the Union, even though it's literally just communism. It's a fully automated gay space communism. That's the best way to really describe the Lancer's setting in particular. I think the third major reason I don't like it is the system itself, because it's, fun fact about Lancer, of all the things people every one time people talk about how great and wonderful Lancer system is, how easy it is to get people involved in it. Always remember Shadow of the Demon Lord. That's one thing you have to remember. It is Shadow of the Demon Lord. It's actually, no, more accurately, Lancer is Blades in the Dark stapled onto Shadow of the Demon Lord with 4E. That's literally all it is. They're 3 games stapled together haphazardly. And I didn't much care for it. Yeah, that's my scathing review. So, yeah, that is my scathing review of Lancer. People like it, though. I'm not going to fault people for liking it. You want to know why? Because, you know what? It's not bad. You want it has production value. Everything is there. And it's like, okay, I'm not really... Like, I'm not a fan of it, though. I'm not a fan of it because you have to buy into one very simple thing. Lancer is a mech game for people who do not like mechs. And people wondered, like, what do I actually mean by that? One of the core things about Lancer is, when I said about that tonal shift is an issue, it's not committing 100% to the anime bullshit. Yeah, this is a black hole powered mech, but here's a bunch of science shit to explain it because we are afraid that we're going to lose you. We're afraid to embrace some of those more anime tropes. We're also kind of afraid to become more crunchy and more stompy. And people bought this shit pretty easily because, again, because of the system, your mechs don't feel like mechs necessarily, they feel like people. XP game by people who do not like X game. This is a reoccurring theme on this channel. You get used to it. You get used to it after a while. It's how do I want to word this in the simplest, most simple, easy way possible. Lancer wanted to bring you in. However, there's one distinct reason I think Lancer did popular. One very distinctive reason. This is Tom Parkinson artwork. Now, you might know Tom. Tom Parkinson Morgan. You may know him. He's a guy who did a very certain comic called Kill 6 Billion Demons. He also did weight gained fetish porn on D for a very long time. So just look at that face and remember he did weight gain and effectively inflation porn on D. Remember that. I want you all to remember this right now. But yeah, he is a big fan of tabletop role-playing games. Only his only other like major game at this point was Broken Worlds, and Broken Worlds was bad. So he partnered with someone to make massive press, and I think one of the major reasons why Lancer got anywhere, Lancer even registered on people's radar, is because he did the artwork. Because he shilled his artwork on his Patreon, he did a lot of things on the comic. The comic is actually very popular, even though I have learned to dislike it. And look, you can even find Allison there. Look, everyone, it's just Allison again. And again, because we all love Allison. The flawless character has done no wrong. I hate Allison. But yeah, he is synonymous, effectively, with Lancer at this point. And if you were to take away Tom from Lancer, Lancer wouldn't have gone anywhere. It would have been a quirky game I go over once and never talk about again. But Tom has sworn himself in more than a few ways to this, and that's what he likes doing. However, he's deciding to write his new game, which is Icon. Icon is Fantasy Lancer, which again, most likely, absolutely no one's going to give a rat's at. Everyone is going to love Icon because also, as you can kind of see, because Tom did the artwork for it. But it's pretty much, you gotta remember, it's pretty much just going to be Fantasy Lancer. Just accept that. Just accept that right now. And I always find it funny, from the co-creator of Lancer and creator Kill 6 Billion Demons. So we've got the basic preface of what Lancer is. We've got the basic concept of what's going on. That leads us very quickly to... Hey, Notepad, where's Battlegroup? Battlegroup isn't on here. This is the only place to get massive. Hey, they don't have that. Maybe there's something else. Well, I'll give you a secret. You can't actually buy Battlegroup on any place, really. Oop. You have to buy it. Actually, no, give me 1 second. We'll get to you in a second. You have to get it on Roll. Now, all right, everybody, let's play a game with each other. Who here has ever heard of Roll? Don't you worry. No, I'm not going to hinder you. I'm not going to say that, you're bad and wrong if you don't know what Roll is. But who here has ever heard of Roll? Outside of people talking, listening to me and my schizo ranting. I'm gonna make a wild guess, and probably nobody here has heard of Roll. Roll is a VTT, a new VTT. You can kind of see here, Roll, and it's a VTT service, best way to plan less, play more, as you can kind of see here. Community focus. Here's all our things, and here's some bunch of testimonials that we all love. Look at by all the Twitter people that we like. I don't know any of them, but they're Twitter people, so they have to be right? But Roll is interesting because they have a game thing here, as you can kind of see right here. They have a set of games that they have got exclusive rights over, including Lancer Battlegroup. Yes, Lancer Battlegroup is actually entirely sworn to this particular game, even registered as complex, to this particular service. You cannot buy Lancer on Battlefleet on. You cannot buy it on like drive-through. You can't buy it on it. You got to buy it through here. Is it good or bad? I don't know. I've got mine. I have started. I mean, I have, as you can kind of see here. I've got my my thing right here. I am a real human being. But they've also have a few other games. Now this is we'll go with here. We'll start this room up because they've got a few other games here. We've got Chrome is a big one. We've got Voidwalkers, Vast Grim, Isle of Ix, and Astra. These are the big ones you probably never heard about before. However, you've maybe heard of Homeworld Revelations, or the fact they just have 5e, which is just a thing. But yeah, this is, if we go here, Chrome is a past lost in the darkness of a future we forgot. Alright, low prep missions, digital rule set. This isn't actually even a game. Like, there's no book for this game. What you have to do is, everything is actually built here on the website itself, which is strange to me. Like, here's the little dice roller system. I would say it's a very clean... Yeah, it's... Oh. No, I don't want to use my camera. No, I never want to use my camera. But you actually have to use it exclusively on Chrome. Yeah, that's not, you have to buy it effectively on the website and use it from there. But it's free, so it's good, right? Void Walkers. For $15, you can play a PBTA game. That's cool. Yeah, it's a 51-page PBTA game. Vast Grim. Never even heard of Vast Grim before. People have apparently talked about it. Looks like a budget mothership, which is saying something because mothership's a budget everything. The Isle of Ix, which is a 48-page OSR thing, but you can also, it uses just the Mark of the Odd license. Astra, which is a brand new super game that's ethereal weirdness takes on the role of diverse characters called from across space and time to strange and surreal new world. Yeah, you want to here's Astra. Never heard of it before. This stream is partially more about role than anything. Oh, why is it always the fur? This is where all the zines went. So why is it always the fur? The same 4 people. Mothership is literally free. Well, you can now pay. You can pay $15 for a different version of it. Interestingly enough, though, here is Roll. Roll was a Kickstarter game from 2020. It raised $106,000, effectively $107,000. And it's, of course, from California, Los Angeles, God help us all. About 3,000 backers. And it was like, okay, role-playing games are powerful empathy generators, creating space for genuine, intimate friendships. Oh, sweet Jesus, Mother of God. This is one of the main developers here, but that's not the CEO. People-centric tools, and as you can kind of see, it's kind of the same images a lot of the time. You kind of see customizable dice and drawing tools. Abilities for all your character sheet. You notice it's a lot of 5e stuff as well, which I always find very interesting. Or command tokens. I don't even know what this game is particularly from. Powerful filters for finding players and content that match your play style. I know these games, or I know this, and this is how you can do it. Once More Into the Void isn't even on that site yet, in the marketplace. Roll's recommendation engine makes review bombing a thing of the past. Yeah, you can't review bomb, and here's the reward tiers. You get early access, premium table skins, play something new, Roll Master Edition. You get early access, game supplements of your choice from this campaign. All 6 game supplements from this campaign. Game supplements, all 6 of them, 600 lifetime membership. You get Roll early access, all 6 game supplements, 3 exclusive premium table skins, and your name on our thank you page. For $600, how many people backed this? 35 people gave these guys $600. And what are the safety? The first stretch goal was fucking safety tools. And then they decided to fund, based on the popular RPG from Tuesday Night Games, we'll be producing a full original supplement for Mothership Chrome, our officially licensed cyberpunk hack for the Mothership RPG. You said... Yep, Tuesday Night Games. Creator supplements expanded. The Roll Master Edition, all the master subscribers, all the free users. Premium skins. You want premium skins, you can buy that. 6 exclusive games. Gotta see here. We've seen a few of these, but you want to know the first one they tell you about. The Roll RPG Creator Community Day 1. That's why we launched the Roll Creators Program, a funding initiative to help independent designers and publishers get more of their work onto the field. Lancer Battlegroup is the first thing they talk about from Massive Press. First thing, 2020. Then it's the Isle of Ix, the Swords Fall. They fucking brought in Swords Fall into this. This fucking thing isn't happening. Swords Fall is here, everybody. Voidwalkers. Astra was like a big one. That's literally a man taking a selfie with a ethereal death monster. Here's masks. Like masks, that's none. So these are the two founders, Ian Hirschfield and Logan Dwight. However, I'll give you a hint. Logan Dwight doesn't exist anymore. I sound a little bit ominous what I'm saying. However, they are now L. Dwight. Yes, we gotta look up who's the main person behind this. This is the main CEO. This is L. Dwight. And I did a little bit of digging on them, and they are big fans of role. All I know is that at one point, this person worked at a thing called the Soap Collective. And if we look at the Soap Collective, we're building a future. They're like a VR company, and you see right here, almost immediately, the Soap Collective has been working with Playroll. They were formerly the CCO, effectively, of that company. And it's like, as you can already kind of see, Massive Press has been kind of doing the rounds. Lancer, talk about Lancer, let's talk more about Lancer, let's, I'll do this. Hey guys, you can buy Lancer on it. Lancer is the big app, though. Lancer is what you're going there for. And smart move, Charlie Brown. But yeah, this is I couldn't really find any, extreme things about them. They are a tech person. They are not a game designer. There's no games, really, that I've seen swore to it. Yeah, it's like, alright, cool. That's really all I could really find on that, this person. Go back. Sorry, Miss L. Then we have Quicksilver Studios and even Hirschfield. Quicksilver Studios is, this guy is... He's a co-founder of Roll. That's really all I can find about the guy. Is that he is a coder. Roll Classic, Beyond Tokyo, which Soap Collective has also done on that. So these are pretty much guys from a company called the Soap Collective out of California. That's really it. They decided to make this VTT right in 2020. And, that's really all. Quicksilver Studios, Quillsilver anyway, is kind of the odd one out. They apparently did work with them to assist them, but these are, Quillsilver, offers a complete solution, take your game from design to finished product. We offer design, development, graphics. The fact that these guys showed up, Poggers, yeah, Swordsfall, Poggers in the chat. What's Swordsfall? Agony. Swordsfall is Agony. Wait, so Chrome is originally a Mothership game? Yes. Yes, it is. So it's like, okay, here's Quicksilver. Now, the interesting thing about Quillsilver is these guys are design people. They help you design graphics, art, marketing. Am I making a bold claim that at things like Astra, for example, here, Astra is not actually a people by Roll, it's by people by Quillsilver? Yeah. I'm gonna make a wide, pretty standard assessment saying that Astra isn't actually in-house necessarily. They probably got Quillsilver to do things for it. And this was a full-on project, and people... I first heard about this about a week ago. from Mildred the Monk. If you don't watch Mildred the Monk, you do what you want to do. But these guys are what they kind of talked about, and they have the creators program. I get like what's the role creator program? Let's see. I mean, we got to learn. Let's see. Do they even have? Good start, everybody. They let's go back to. Not roll. I want to go to displayroll.com. So let's do FAQ. Come on, there's got to be something. I want to get money for this. Come on, I want to get that money. Let's see. Frequently asked questions. Roll Discord, looking for a game to join. Can I play X on roll? Yeah, you can kind of see here already, people have been working on stuff, obviously. And like 221, 2022, 2022, 2021. Like, people have been obviously working on this for a while. But kind of these are all my play materials, as you can kind of see. What is roll? What is this? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But we've established a timeline. I want this to be a known fact of life. We've established a timeline, which is Lancer 2019, pretty much releases in 2020. Lancer releases in 2020. Roll Kickstarter is in 2020. Lancer blows up. Lancer goes from 0 to a fucking 100 at this point. Lancer goes from 0 to 100. Everybody loves Lancer. Roll Kickstarter. Then we have the kind of I would say like Lancer supplements, things like the trade baronies and things like that, kind of from 2020, pretty much 2020 to 2020, from 2020 to 2021, which led to this very interesting scenario as Lancer suspends books. Suspend work on planned source books. August 31st, 2021. Pandemic stressors. They, actually, we can even do this. Well, let's just make this... Lancer stops supplements. 2021. And then here we are, which is Battlegroup releases 2022. Interesting combination of things, isn't it? Interesting timelines, interesting looks. This is what fascinates me. Aren't Roll20 also? You mean the OR project? Because here's the thing. This is a little bit of a detour. Roll20... Roll20 is actually not quite based... Roll20 isn't the company. What it is the OR group. I have not been able to find jack shit about the OR group in any remote capacity. The only ones I know is this. These are the people who probably own Roll20. The OR group investment bankers. These are the guys. It kind of, like some of the, like this, it doesn't quite add up, but kind of some of the dates do. It gets a little bit wonky simply because that's not really a... Probably nobody has ever given a shit about me asking these questions, but we really do not know. But even here, you see the OR group, they've got their money, 74, but now they own one bookshelf, which, again, if you realize the fact, it adds up if you think, like, Roll20 didn't buy one bookshelf, the OR group did. You kind of see there, product materials, product distribution, our team. Here are some of the team members that I've never heard of any of these guys before, and nor do I ever really think that they want to be known. But this is really the only explanation I could find on it. Those are the people who actually own Roll20. But yeah, that's kind of the summary of like what we're really getting ourselves into. But what about Lancer Reno itself? There was a Kickstarter for Roll20. Well, let's look. Let's do Roll20 Kickstarter. Because here's the interesting thing, Riley Dutton. Because this isn't the CEO anymore. Riley Dutton isn't the CEO. I think these guys got bought out. Yeah, I think what occurred here, Varric, is Roll20 got bought the second when they came out more officially. Yeah, so I think that's the case there. If they are still independent, they aren't really helping themselves by being almost immediately associated with the OR group. But yeah, no, that's just something we're kind of working with. We got to kind of understand what our current situation. But here's a Lancer Battlegroup. Now, kind of see here. You may immediately be wondering, Notepad, this isn't quite looking like Tom's artwork. Something doesn't seem right here. What's going on here? Well, interestingly enough, Tom is not mentioned at all in any of this. Tom, Abaddon is not mentioned at all in this book. It is by Kai Tave and Miguel Lopez. Now, Miguel Lopez is an interesting creature. But yeah, no, it's like interesting thing with Miguel Lopez is, you could kind of say, the brains of Lancer, where Tom was a lot of probably the bigger ideas. Miguel was actually the guy writing everything. And he actually, I believe, went on to work for Wizards of the Coast. Working on 1D&D, actually. And that's why a lot of Lancer stuff kind of fizzled out. Which was one of the things that I think is because the brains of the operation left. But Miguel's actually cited here, and anytime on TG you see someone say, like, Lancer is a bunch of shills, they're actually talking about Miguel here. Because Miguel effectively went on TG one day and said, back us on Kickstarter because it's cool. And everybody collectively shat on him. Like, just literally pulled their pants down and just pooped on poor Lopez here. But this was kind of the interesting creature here. Kai Tave. This is the one that was like, who are you? I've never seen you before. And he's cited first. Notepad ties together the grand conspiracy. Ties together Lancer Roll20, the Rothschild, and the Soviet Werewolf Project. Effectively. Just follow the money. That's always been my thing. Follow the money. But who is Kai Tave? I had no idea. But then I am a Patreon. Yeah, this is Kai. Hello, my name is Kai. Aficionado of tabletop role-playing games. I've been reading them, playing them, reviewing and critiquing them, trying to analyze what works and what doesn't. Over the last 2 years, I've been heavily involved in the community for the Lancer RPG. At present, I've written over 200 pages or so of material for the game. Player-facing content to GM, tool, and campaign settings, and adventure seeds. This guy swore himself the Lancer. He's 110% on it. This guy is, I believe, one of the, main people behind Lancer shit. Field guide to Soldan with Kai Tave. I don't know a lot of, the supplemental stuff. It's Battlegroup, spin-off game, Adventure Path, No Room for Wallflower. This guy is 100% with it. I don't actually think he works for Massive, though. This is the weird thing. I genuinely don't know if he works for Massive or not. I don't think he does. I do not actually think this guy is a member of Massive, and if he is, he doesn't state it in his Patreon. Because does Massive have a Patreon? Like, let me do like Massive Press Patreon. No. Wait, CompCon has it? Okay, they sort of have it. Demo hosting as well as your Lancer game. Patron. I mean, wait a second. No, this is also someone who's been sworn to it. This is CompCon, with all the Patreon stuff. So this is just another person who works for it, digital tools for players and GMs of the Lancer TTRPG. This fucker makes $1,000 a month doing this, by the way. But like Massive doesn't have it, but like here's the weird thing, like ELH on hi ELH. ELH is a VTuber. They're weird. But the thing is, you probably know, but like it's weird. It is a mystery to me why Tom is not actually mentioned at all. The co-creator of Lancer is not mentioned in this game. What? Does anyone else find that weird? Because I find that strange. Now, mind you, it's funny when it comes to playtesting. It's like, oh, a Sully voice. Paranormally, Ryu, Spindle, Sword Rager. A lot of these aren't like names of people. They're just fucking. Yeah, it's kind of weird to me. And this is, the thing is, you gotta remember, this is an official Massive Press product. This isn't a little thing that, a fan put together because they're super, no, this is an official Massive Press project. Miguel Lopez is here. So it's like, yeah, they got a license from Massive Press, okay. From different guys. Yeah, it's odd to me that, like, I understand getting, like, license from something. This is just odd because, again, it's... Maybe Kai just wrote 200 pages. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just fan material. You gotta remember that. That's 200 pages of fan shit. And I'm like, are you supporting him for that? Or are you supporting him for this? Again, aren't Tom works on Icon. Again, this is where the timeline gets muddy. This is where the timeline gets money, Varric. Because, again, Battlefleet, you can say Battlefleet was announced in 2020 with Roll's Kickstarter. Lancer suspends supplements in 2021. However, Icon also didn't see, Icon starts development in 2021. My question is more, where was Battlefleet created? Was Battlefleet really created in 2020, or was Battlefleet created in 2021? Because that changes a lot of things about about some of the concepts behind this. Because if you say that Battlefleet was started development and was created in 2020, the initial ideas, suddenly Lancer suspending development and Tom leaving to work on Icon makes things a lot more complicated. Because it's like, oh hey, we've suspended development effectively on all the supplement material, which this game relies on. So it's like, oh hey, did Tom like just hand it over to this guy and be like, I don't want to work on this anymore, you do it? Or was it always Kai? Or was it always this? Because again, Lancer came out in 2020. You can't write 200 pages of material for something that came out 2020. So it's the connections, guys. You don't understand the connections, the lines they're drawing. Yeah, it's one of those things where you're trying to connect all the dots. Yeah, I think the ideas were, in 20 when you stopped working making supplements. It's it's one of those things of like, where are you, where does things begin and where do things end? And this is where things get really muddy, because they were obviously talking about Battlefleet before this. I remember hearing about Battlefleet for a while. But the big thing going forward is I was pitched, and probably you were pitched, Battlefleet Battlegroup anyway, did I put this as Battlefleet, by the way? I'm gonna laugh my ass off if I put this as Battlefleet. I put it as Battlefleet. That's even better. See how much I fucking care about this game. Lancer was created. Lancer Battlegroup was created in a vacuum, maybe. It's weird when you start trying to put all the little numbers and little lines together of why this was made. Let's go through it, all right? All right, let's do this. All right, gamers. All right, this is gonna be fun, right? We've got Paragon-chan here, my favorite battleship from Star Sector. Fuck you. Also, before we begin, here are the safety tools. I just want to tell everyone about the TTRPG safety toolkit, because this is kind of what I would like to say is the final destination of all safety tools. This is the toolkit. Everything you need is right here. Here's all the ones before the game begins. Make sure to establish your lines of veil. Use the Luxton technique, which is just fucking talking to people. The consent checklist. They've expanded the X card to the X, N, and O cards. X card is when you say no. N card is when you pull your N card. You can use it to stop something before it happens, or the O card and say it's okay, and you're encouraged to type O in chat, or okay, or ask O, question mark. Also using the Luxton technique, the open door technique, or using breaks, for example. And then don't forget to check for emotional bleed, aftercare, debriefing, stars and wishes, which is a completely different fucking thing. Applying safety tools to actual play sections, and everything there. The N card. Yeah, the N card, the X card, the O card. I mean, if we combine all of them together, we'll get Exodia, everybody. The final safety tool. So, yes, you do have it now. Officially, you have your N-word pass. What is this, cancer? Welcome to the final... Welcome to the final dance, everybody. This is what we have to live with. This is the future you all chose. This is what you wanted, liberals. So, introduction. One of the weird things is, again, we're gonna have to judge. So let's just read the opening introduction. Lancer Battlegroup is a standalone rules system for mass space combat in the Lancer setting, designed for digital and tabletop play with no need for a grid or hex map. Blending Lancer's deep unit customization and emergent story with a new frontier of tactical narrative action. Battlegroup casts the players as pilots and officers in a fleet deployed to the front line of a naval campaign. Their missions may vary, but their goals remain the same: win, survive, and return home. Battlegroup is both a standalone game, remember that, standalone game, and a large-scale space combat module for Lancer. Whether you want to play out a naval campaign or add a new dimension and scale to your campaign, you can use Battlegroup. Detailed narrative, combat and narrative tactical play. Fleet and ship customization. Everything you need to know about naval warfare. Key information about the Dawn Line showing the major powers vying for control of the region. Oh, all right. I choose none. Playing Battlegroup. Book structure. Again, very basic book structure. What you need. This isn't a war game. I'm going to be upfront with you all right now. This is not a war game. This, my friends, is a role-playing game supplement, but not. It is and is not a role-playing game. Because for this entire book, I want to ask you, what is a role-playing game? What defines a role-playing game? A TTRPG. What defines it? What is it? So, this, if you've played Lancer, you've played this. It's a D20 game as well as using 6-sided dice. One of the big things about this game is the idea of boons and banes. They're not called boons and banes, but let's be honest with ourselves, they're called boons and banes. 95% of checks you're going to be making is with this D20 roll. You're going to roll that D20 and try to get above 10. However, if you have an advantage, you have a boon effectively, you're going to roll an extra D6 on top of it. If you have a bane on the other hand, you're going to roll it and subtract it. So let's say, for example, I roll a 9 and I have a boon. I roll a 6. I rolled a 15, in fact. Very good. Let's say I roll a, I rolled a 15. Wowzers. I roll a 1, so now I have 14. Now these can stack technically infinitely. So you can have like 5 boons or like 5 banes, but they do knock each other out. So 5 boons, 5 banes mean you have 0. Does not use a grid for tactical combat. I want you all to remember this. There's no grid in this game. There is not a grid. That's the big thing. Unlike Lancer, the game does not use a grid for tactical combat. It uses a tool called the Gyre. The Gyre. Hello, everyone. I've contracted Gyre. Track relative positions. You don't need squares or hexes or anything. Most of the players take the role of commanders. These are player character species, but one of them is the game master. Blah, blah, blah. The golden rule. Specific rules override. Always round up. Attacks, checks, and interdictions. The absolute first thing you learn in this game of how to do anything is attack another human being. Anytime you're going to need to make an attack, this is the first thing you learn about in this game. And I find that fascinating. Presentation is everything in games. And the first thing you learn about is how to kill someone. Just bear that in mind. Certain weapons actually have a critical. All you need to roll for a critical is a 20 up. You roll critical, something good's going to happen. Usually it's more damage, or it might trigger other effects. Very simple, and everything has a target defense. So it's like, okay, all right. Now, obviously, we're going to need a friend. We aren't going to bring our friend out yet, because he's very special. Because we got to learn how to make a commander first. So next we do, roll a 20. And then it's not downtime checks, it's uptime checks, even though they act the exact same as downtime. The only special one is actually interdiction rolls. Interdiction is special because, let's say, for example, I'm going to take unavoidable damage. This is a missile coming at me. I cannot stop that missile from coming to kill me. I can, however, roll an interdiction check to mitigate the damage. So my interdiction check might be 2d6. I roll, and I've mitigated 10 damage. Wow. You know, +1s and +2s, accuracy and difficulty. I just explained that to you pretty easily. Dealing damage, you're going to be hitting not hull points, you're going to be dealing hit points. Now reaches 0, it is destroyed when an attack or other ability hits the target, reduces damage by it reduces its HP. It's spherical. It's not a grid, though. That's the thing. It's not a grid. We'll get to the Gyre. It's not. Some special systems effects have call for values, like damage to be halved. You played Lancer before? You ever heard of D20s? You've played this. Engagements have specific goals, because one of the big things is there are 2 major sets of time in Battlegroup. There is, we're killing each other, and we're role-playing. If you're killing each other, that's an engagement. That is where 99% of the book is actually in. If you're role-playing, that's about where 1% of the book is, but we're going to have to actually talk about it a lot. And, Yeah, this is where things get stupid. Really stupid. Most of the time you're going to be a narrative play. They want to talk to you about narrative play a lot. This is where one of the weird things is, where, and why I was so fascinated in this game, is because I was pitched this game as, this is a war game. When I think war game, I think more of the emergent narrative of the battle on the table. It's the, everyone's stroking their chin. Hello, phone. Everyone strokes their chins a little bit and be like, huh, well then, we have to, move to engage, obviously. We have to move to engage and, shit like that. But no, this is actually a full-fledged role-playing game. Experience of fleet battles in the Lancer universe. You create or follow a single commander across successive engagements. Yeah, it's... Do we get to talk about feelings? Yes, we do, actually. This entire section is about that, by the way. Funny you note this. This is the note on player safety, but we'll get to that in a moment, just because it's an interesting note. Yeah, one of the odd bits is, like, Battlegroup doesn't know what it is. Because Battlegroup is two things. It's a standalone game, and it is a supplement for Lancer. But, you can't really play it alone. Like, as itself, it's barely a game. Except if you use the combat. It's not really a role-playing game. But if you play it with Lancer, your Lancer pilots don't actually do much. So you have to play it this way. It's mind-bogglingly strange. It's add tactical or narrative depth to a Lancer tabletop game. That's pretty much what it is. But yeah, here it is. Because one of the things is Lancer is that, remember, one of the things is that space combat is deadly, because we're also edgy and hard sci-fi, and oh no, things are dying, and so people explode, and it's so bad and awful and scary. Oh no! Even though we do have reality-defying super AI and all that shit, but we don't get to talk about that, because again, I do not like Lancer's tone. It doesn't know what it is. Fragile thing next to cataclysmic power, make difficult decisions in the heat of battle. Errant volleys fired too close to an inhabited world result in harrowing devastation and casualties on a massive scale. Ooh, spacers are separated from their homes not by stellar distance, but by an ever-widening dilation of time that comes with relativistic travel and alienates them, the people and places they once knew. Lancer, decide what the fuck you are. Just decide. Are you black hole-powered mechs? Or are you hard sci-fi? You can't have both. You can't have both. You can have one or the other. You can be stupid anime, or you can be dramatic. Are you Legend of the Galactic Heroes, or are you Code Geass? Or are you Tengen Toppa fucking Gurren Lagann? These are very different things. And here's all the... Because the thing is, your character can die very easily. Incredibly so. You are not pilots. Here's all the uptime checks, because all of this... Here's the thing. You see all of this section here? This is about narrative combat. You want to know what narrative combat boils down to? This. This is what it boils down to. I need to make a check real fast. I want to sneak past the guards. Rolled a 2. I don't sneak past the guards. I need to convince the officer to give me some intel. I rolled an 18. I convince him and he gives me intel. D20, single D20 roll. Check is only a single roll. We have some basic consequences of what you establish. Really, all of this boils down to roll a D20 and on a 10 up you win. All of this, that's what it boils down to. Now, interesting thing to note when it comes to harm. In Lancer, you actually have things like HP. You can survive maybe a hit or two. In Battlegroup, if you get shot, you're dead. You don't have health. You don't actually have any stats at all. You do not have stats, you do not have health. Instead, you simply just happen everything in a narrative sense. So getting shot may kill you, or it may not. It kind of all depends. Because this is our character sheet. Obviously, I am playing Mongolian Lambert. As you can kind of see by his various abilities and such. It may seem like, Notepad, this isn't a character sheet, and the answer is, this is the character sheet. There is no other character sheet. Well, everyone is glass cannon. No, that's the thing. You're not a glass cannon. You are at complete mercy of the narrative. Getting shot might, one GM might say, okay, you can kind of you rolled decent enough, you managed to kind of shake it off a little bit. Someone might just outright kill you because you've been shot by a gun. There's no stats, really. Your commander doesn't actually mean anything, because the actual commander aspect is right here. These are the only 3 things that matter. All the rest of this is entirely for the gun, for the kind of the combat section. This is just your background. Hence the Zap Brannigan School of Naval Warfare. Yeah, so all of this, congratulations everybody. It's just that simple. That's how we do it in the Mafia. Yeah, so you can include additional rules like teamwork, difficult, risky, and heroic rules, and pushing it, which are discussed below. Cool, you want to use Lancer's other rules? You can just use Lancer too. If you want to do it, but the problem is you can't use any of the triggers before Lancer pilot scale, because Lancer pilot scale sucks. There's no pilot scale really. It's a weird PBTA Forge in the Dark thing. You don't have license levels or anything here. You don't have levels at all. You don't really have much of anything. You don't get any bonuses. You don't get anything. Really what it boils down to is doing things like here. So you can decide if it's difficult or risky. Things might get harder, things might get easier, and it's deterministic successes. That's really it. You want to push it? Yeah, it makes things harder. That's it. This is the entirety of the system. This is what you're really getting. Because nobody gives a shit what's happening outside of the boats, right? Here's the entire setting. You like Lancer's setting? I don't like it. The only one that's kind of odd to me is because again, remember, hard sci-fi. You gotta remember this. Hard sci-fi, baby, except when it's not. These are NHPs, Fleet Legions and Legion Space. A Gestalt entity known as a Fleet Legion. Pretty much all the non-human persons, because in Lancer there are AI people, but they're not people technically, because they don't have a soul. The networking of NHP minds is not permanent, and technically all the AIs of your ship can come together and form Legion Space. That allows you to communicate among all your ships, and it's pretty much the internet, as well as all your sensors and all your Eve stuff. Now, Fleet Legions allow for near instant communication. Collective minds also do battle against opposing legions within Legion Space. Legion Space is an ontological co-subjective environment in which multiple individuals, humans and NHPs alike, can convert among themselves in real time. During combat, Legion Space becomes a battleground unto itself, a realm where opposing fleet legions clash with terrifying esoteric thought weapons and anti-causal powers beyond comprehension. So, one of the things is, what this is to justify is, we're doing ECM, we're ECM jamming them. We're going to jam them, we're going to cut communication, we're going to give false orders, we're going to do things to fuck with them. Now, in real combat, what that would look like is some guy sitting at a terminal and, okay, we're doing that. And then a guy at the other terminal be like, oh no, they're doing it. Oh no. Oh no. It's electronic warfare. Here, however, is a little bit different. This shit's what's going on. This is how you represent getting your sensors overwritten. Only D20 rolls, no clocks. Ome wa shinteru, no! Art is, like, the art is, like, art's fine. I mean, do you like Lancer art? It's not done by Tom, so Tom's art's not in here at all. Yeah, only D20 rolls, no clocks. Back what I miss. Yeah, welcome to Legion Space, otherwise known as digital death machines fighting each other. Which, I find this, yeah, this is what I mean by a lot of the tonal problems of Lancer. If you were to tell me that this is a really high science fiction setting where, like, weird shit goes on all the time, and it's like, yes, E-warfare literally is fought between AI god monsters in literally cyberspace as they kung fu battle one another to jam each other's sensors. Pog, I'm down. Fuck it. You know, awesome. Down. I am down with the motion. I'm ready to go. But then it's just like, man, the horrors of war. This is so terrible. I have to deal with time dilation. Because here is the kind of what's inside the ship. You see everyone's kind of these, you know, floating around doing their own thing. You get to see this asshole's haircut. But yeah, it's War Among the Stars. But now we have to create a commander. All right, everybody, this is our character. This is our character, the one who's making a decision. We choose 3 traits. You can choose any trait we really want. Their traits are more nature's about you. Bold, brilliant, calculating, courageous, daring. And you also have to choose 1 negative trait. So 2 positive, 1 negative. So for Mongolian Lambert here, what he chose to do, because I was talking with him actually, he chose to be virile and stubborn, and that's his positive traits. However, his negative trait is that he has inconvenient thought hemorrhages. Very unfortunate. Now, anytime one of the positive ones come into play, you get an advantage die. You pretty much get to add another d6, and oh, congratulations, I managed to roll higher because of it. Weird thing, though, is that you have to mark these off. So it's like, okay, I used virile, for example, to seduce the green women. I have to now mark virile off until I either go through an inconvenient thought hemorrhage or the GM gives me it back. That's really it. And you say, well, obviously, this needs to make some, like, pretty important, you know, part of the combat, right? You know, the single advantage is going to be, no, traits are never used in combat. They're almost always used in narrative play and uptime. They never apply to combat. Yep, no, that's, so the best way to think about it is, like, these things do not apply really to combat in the slightest. And it's like, okay, so that's not really there. Backgrounds don't do anything, in fact. These are purely, you know, ideas. So you can be part of a naval family, or you're part of the Union Navy. Here's all the Union Navy stuff about how, and you want to be part of the UNC? Cool. We all like the UNC. Woo, let's roll a little chart. Oh boy, life was comfortable. Oh no. Don't worry, I'm ready. Let's do it. The galaxy needs your action more than your sympathy. Don't worry, you're a good guy, but you're also from the inner world, which is literally a post-scarcity, post-capital, everything is lovely and great and awesome, but you decided to join the Navy, because in the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas. Yeah, you want to become part of the Karikins. Those are from the trade baronies. That was like an entire supplement. Never read that one because I couldn't care less. But let's roll. Let's see. Come on, let's see where we're from the trade baronies. 4. Oh, the heir is to a baron. You shocked your family by eloping with an endowment to join the Navy and be schooled in the KNF. Neat. That's cool. Yeah, it's sometimes the formatting gets a little bit funky wonky. You want to just be an ODF guy? You can be an ODF dude. You want to be part of these guys? Roll the charts. Which, if you're invested in Lancer lore, this is going to be really cool. If you're not invested in Lancer lore, who the fuck cares? But yeah, so congratulations. I've now taught you how to play the game. I've taught you how the game is played and how it works. But we need to learn about this. We need to learn about the game itself. So, basic statements: a field of battle is set, and the enemy's fleet will not continue to flee or maneuver away. So pretty much anytime you fight, you have some very basic ideas, which is no one's going to be running away until a very certain moment occurs. However, your movement is always going to be forward, which is probably the stupidest system in the game. Everything is always player directed and relative to the enemy, but also not. Positioning along does not matter. The X, Y, and Z axes do not matter. This is why I say it's not a map. Structure of battle. Stage 1, briefing. Briefing is when you give all the information that you need to the players. Enemy force strength, composition, direction, environment, obstacles. That's pretty much it. Any single thing that needs to be here, you're going to give them. They already know. Fine, cool, that's great. Neat. And what's your objective? Okay, easy. Step 2, forecast. What do you actually think this is going to go? Like, what's the consequences? If we succeed in the battle, this will occur. If we fail in the battle, this will occur. That's stage 2 of combat. Preparation. At preparation phase, you can sub out your entire battle group if you feel like. If you want to. Yeah, pretty much swapping weapons, systems, ordnance, and technically if you really want to, you can even sub out some of your hulls. But generally speaking, if you want to edit some of your fleet systems, you can. Just change them. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, ordering onboard marines, certain modules of the ship, doing all that, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's, can't wholly change the hulls they already have equipped. You can if you want. If I really wanted to, and if it was my GM let me, I could sub out my entire ship, my entire sections over here. I could sub out these entire things for something completely different. Run a campaign with chat as players. Now, if I were to do that, I'd be playing a solo RPG. There's a solo RPG, but it's just everyone is John because it's all you schizos. It'll be great. Stage 7, the players choose whether to select their posture, take or take up times action. Alright, pretty simple. And then we fight. Battle, die, and then we determine the aftermath. Oh no, what occurs? Assessing damage losses and tallying the fallen. Oh no, so sad. So sad. Everybody press F in chat to make sure that I'll remember the fallen who died in our awesome naval warfare. Cool. Yeah, discuss it. Collaborative game, not a competitive one. So, the engagement, the battle phase. This is where things get a little bit interesting, but then it also stops being interesting. The engagement is broken down into 4 phases. You have your logistics phase, your impact phase, action, and boarding phase. Or the best way to think about it, your upkeep phase, missiles go boom boom phase, we're doing shit phase, and here's a really specific thing for boarding that's kind of cool but kind of not because boarding sucks. So then you go to the next round of logistics phase. All right, we did it, everybody. Technically, you can also do pre-engagement stuff, but that's not really a thing. It is, but isn't. So the main thing about the game is actually based around these. These are your capital ships. Your capital ships are the most important thing. And everything is built off the back of these particular of these ships. So you don't actually have a corvette necessarily. You have a corvette escort you would have attached to the Masawu heavy carrier. And because you have that, this is really all it is. There aren't like super a lot of these. As you can see here, I have the Greenland battle carrier. This is my flagship, and they get some better bonuses. It has its weapons and its bonuses, but here are effectively what I chose for it. That's how it works. Yeah, like escorts are small ships. Wings are this. You can usually use escorts to screen for capital ships. That's one of the big things too, is which you can sacrifice all your escorts to have them die heroically in the field rather than you. And you should do that a lot. In chat for all the boys who died. Let's see. Action phase. Popcorn initiative. If you don't know what popcorn initiative is, it is I go, and then I select an enemy to go, then they select one of us to go, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You can never select usually. Sometimes the rules get a little bit wonky, where it's like sometimes popcorn initiative allows you to select allies just as much as enemies. Sometimes it's only, back and forth. Sometimes it's like, oh, like you choose two, they choose two. I've seen it done a few different ways, but the basic concept usually does boil down to I go, you go, I go, you go. But players will always act first in battle fleet. Or battle group. I'm going to keep calling it battle fleet because that sounds better. But yeah. Action phase, once a turn. Congratulations, we all know how this goes. So this is the logistics phase. These are the main things which you're going to be doing during this phase. You're going to remove a charge counter from your charge weapons. All packed active payloads, remove one flight counter. All reloading, remove one refresh counter. All exhausted escorts and wings are ready for use. Once all these ships have been performed, any other system maneuvers or abilities that have been triggered during the logistics phase may now be done. So, already you can tell there are 3 separate counters to keep track of. This also brings me to one of the stranger facts of this. For some reason, this game has a weird time with actual writing things out like this. I started noticing it around here, but it'll as we go on, sometimes it gets a little bit wonkier. Like they'll establish something like, oh, these are bolded, but then they won't bold certain things. These are never capitalized, even though they should technically be capitalized, because these are all separate things. But you also have all exhausted escorts and wings are ready for use. Once all these ships and others have been performed, any other system maneuver. It's like this is written really weird when you look at it. It's like, that doesn't seem right. Why? But why are you the way that you are? But yeah, do you like counters? We're going to be dealing with counters. We're going to get to each of these a little bit later, but they have to explain everything to you. Now, this is where the point of no return occurs. At the 5th round of play, you can choose to retreat or not. And every round hereafter, you have the option to say, I'm going to retreat. I'm leaving. I'm going to jump out of the battle. I'm going to save the rest of my ships, and we're leaving. Fuck you. Fuck this. We're outie. We're outie like Saudi. All right. Easy enough to understand. If you stay engaged, you're stuck for the whole round until next round. And it's like, all right, but you also have some issues, like payload don't do anything. However, if you try to leave, you're fucked. Like, all right. And next we have the impact phase. Actually, no, we have surrender. Surrender. You power off all your weapons. You surrender, your crew is captured, and the remainder of the ships in battle group are either scuttled or salvaged at the end of combat. Surrender effectively removes battle group from the remainder of the fight. You can say, I don't want to fight anymore, we're too damaged, we don't want to lose anybody's life. Alright, now, Manly did point out this, I was talking with Manly about this the other night, about this particular rule. There's technically nothing saying that when someone surrenders, you can't just fire on them. Which, we came up with our own rules for how to deal with surrendering ships you wish to fire upon, and that's treat everyone's health as 0, which can lead to cataclysmic death and destruction as you fire a charge laser directly into their face. But that's not ethical. I don't fucking care. You're pirates. By legal law, I don't care. Click button, everyone dies. Like, yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. So, charge weapons. Impact is... The impact phase is mostly for things like missiles. When you see things that like payload attacks, they're actually talking about missiles. I've fired a dozen torpedoes at you. They're going to fly toward you, and at 0, they're going to hit. They're going to do automatic damage that you're going to have to make an interdiction check for. Charge weapons, however, are the giant death laser guns. Those are the biggie, small, scary ones. Biggie, small, scary ones? Where did that come from? So charging these things are actually pretty important. So these count down. Everything always counts down in this game. You know, and this is usually bad. Now, one of the big things about interdiction is actually very fascinating, which is, let's say I take a single missile. Missile's coming at me, and oh no, I can make an interdiction check. I can mitigate the damage from that one missile. Oh, I rolled a 5. It only did 8 damage. I only took 3 damage. That's pretty good. You can only roll your interdiction dice for 1 set of damage, though. So, for example, let's say 5 missiles showed up, all impacting at the same time. You still only going to roll 2d6, possibly, for your interdiction. So, Alpha Strike. But that's Rockworm! You are Soy Jack, I'll have you know. Victor, you know, the Victor write the story, and I have a death laser, and you power down your shield. That's not ethical. Sounds like someone's being a little bitch. You're a pirate. This is the life you chose. Sounds like someone's a little bitch. Okay, during the action phase, active battle group take from maneuvers and tactics. Now, when they're talking about maneuvers and tactics, what they're really saying is major actions and minor actions. You can always perform a major and a minor, or 2 minor actions. That's really it. You don't actually have many actions per combat, though. That's one interesting note to actually think about. You don't actually have many of these to work with. I thought there was going to be a lot more. There aren't really. So all attacks are resolved immediately. Boarded ships may now repel boarders or rolling against their tenacity. You have our basic maneuvers. So, one of the big things is that these are the maneuvers. You can all ahead full. Your battle group may advance 1 range band. You fire 1 primary weapon before or after moving. Open fire. Range band do all extra power to his weapons. Fire 1 super heavy and up to 2 different primary weapons. So it is entirely possible to just start shooting people. Now, I was like, okay, we're going to have a lot of primary weapons. We're going to have a lot of weapons in general. You don't. Now, these are just carriers. Carriers don't have that much, but this is a big-ass carrier, and we have 1 gun. We have 1 gun. We have a set of mass accelerator turrets. That's really all we have. I was really wishing we would have more, and it's like, oh, so you're only going to have like 1 or 2 primary weapons. I think the most is like 3, but you're not going to be firing them all that much. Ramming speed, do not ram. Ram is the worst thing you could possibly do unless they're already dead, which, by the way, you're going to do 2d6 damage. So if they're really low and you're pretty high, advance your battle group to point blank. One of your capital ships. So get your healthiest battleship, your capital ship, and yeah, I took 9 damage, but you took 12 damage, and you're dead now. Oh, is that a catastrophic explosion and all your crew is dead? Oh no. Oh, are those escape pods, or are those battlecraft? I don't know. Open fire with the point defense. But sir, those are life rafts. Oh no, that they have guns. Oh, bang, 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 bang. I am a good commander. We are ethical. Is this game good or fun? Is this game good or fun? I'm confused by this game. Gonna be honest with you all. I usually save my opinion till the bitter end, but I'm gonna say I'm confused by this game. Because underneath everything, there's some interesting ideas. There's some things I'm actually kind of genuinely interested in. But it's for every single interesting idea, it just jams an ice pick into its kneecap. And it's like, oh man, you know, kind of a battle group scale, you're playing cap, stab it in the kneecap, no rules for out of combat stuff, effectively. Okay. Alright, you can build your fleet, it's a very technical game. Alright, stab in the kneecap, but you're also this weird RPG sense where logistics don't matter. So it's, again, every interesting idea has just a fucking ice pick jammed through its leg, and it's like, oh god! Retrograde burns of the other maneuver, and that's all the maneuvers. You have 4 basic maneuvers. That's really it. A vast majority of the game is going to be built around doing this, and you're only going to have about 4 or 5 of these to do. A full combat, mind you, is going to take place about 7 turns. That's if you really go slugging at each other, but they're expecting you to end at about 5 or 6. So you're going to be able to perform 5 to 6 of these maneuvers, and that's it. The game is done at that point. Like, anything further than that, you really shouldn't be fighting. But, like, ramming is very situational, and retrograde burn actually, yeah, like, it doesn't actually do anything until, like, a very specific moment. So, the idea of the retrograde burn is that we use the maneuver, and your battle group becomes bolstered. Bolstered is good. We get things. However, you get +1 1d6 interdiction and +2 defense on each ship. You're using retrograde burn to try to save yourself, but you can fall back when range band, right? This is good. At round 7, actually I believe at round 7, no, round 8 is round 8. At round 8, you can no longer retreat. You have to be in the point blank range. You can no longer move, which is the one thing I dislike most about this game. Okay, here we have tactics. Tactics really boil down to, like, minor things that change the nature of it. Like, oh, I want a careful shot. If I careful shot, I can't reduce anything below 0. Like, I can't reduce health below 0. Or, oh, I want to do the lock firing solution, which this right here, lock on, the most valuable thing you can do. Lock on is insane. You should always lock on. Lock on to escorts, lock on to anything, and then hit that button to kill them. You can kill escorts very quickly. Like, give you an idea, my Corvette escort has like 8 health. Like, that thing will explode almost immediately. But also my super carrier is going to take it, and at least 12 defense. Like, 1 accuracy is in a full D6 range. Like, let's say I want to roll to hit, even though I rolled a... Like, yeah, you can hit pretty reliably. So unless you're, like, trying to defend yourself, but that doesn't really do much. Yeah, emergency maneuvers, you can only do this 1 time to move back. If you've been noticing this very quickly, is you cannot fall back very often. Everything is always marching forward. You're always heading toward this central engagement, point blank range. Because there's no map. It's a game. This is the idea of the defensive screen. If you're doing, like, playing a lot of, like... Yeah, like, this is, like, the thing with, like, the frigates and things like that. Which, I have no frigates in my fleet. I can't actually use this. You know, if you try to use a frigate to screen for a capital ship, there's a 50-50. The frigate takes damage or you take damage. Oh no, this is very sad. Like, oh, this is super, super sad, and we should all feel sad. Which, technically, if I really wanted to be efficient, I would have taken a frigate instead of double carriers. But I want to take double carriers because that's what Lambert wanted. He wanted to go the least efficient path possible, but I also have a lot of boats that I can throw at you. I find that funny. And then we have the boarding phase. In the tactics screen, you don't actually have the boarding phase, you know, the boarding tactic. which is a standard tactic, which I think is just because they couldn't fit it in anywhere. But like, this is really it. You get 4 basic tactics, technically 5 if you count boarding, but only with certain actions can you really use boarding. So what occurs is you try to board the capital ship. What's assigned? They board it. You can't actually get them off. You can't use that escort ship to do anything else. No. All right, cool. Very simple. Cannot be damaged, targeted by attacks, or repair HP. While a capital ship is boarded, it cannot be damaged, it cannot be targeted, and it cannot repair. Now, at first I thought, man, this sucks. This is terrible. Like, you can't hurt a ship. You have to rely entirely on your boarders. And the thing is, for a lot of the boarders, they don't do much. Like, these are the things that your boarders can actually do. Like, oh man, like you make attack rolls with difficulty. Wow. Sever comms, but you can't use tactics. Oh, wow. But then I thought about it a little bit more. You board, you sabotage fire control. One of your 7 6, 7 attacks have now been mitigated. 2 difficulty, that's a 2 to 12 penalty on that roll. That's crippling if you succeed at that. Sever your comms. You always will have 2 tactics and 1 maneuver, 1 tactic. You can't use tactics. You get 1 maneuver around. That is crippling. Or you can just assault the CIC. You can't move any of the player battle groups with actions or abilities until the next turn. You hold them in place effectively. Almost like you can line up the perfect shot. This is what I say. Interesting, but then it kind of shoots itself in the knee because all of this is actually based entirely around a D20. Where did I put my D20? On an 8 up, you successfully carry out your mission. On a 7 or less, you don't. And every round, they're going to have the option to try to they can kick out your ship. At the beginning of every round, very much at the ship boarding action, you have to rely on internal defenses. You roll. If you roll above their tenacity, the average tenacity is 10. You beat that tenacity, they're kicked off your ship. You eject the boarders, inflict casualties. But they don't really do anything. Because again, there's no crew, there's no actual like damage when it comes to that. You just force them off. Or you can spend an entire maneuver to kick them off. Which again, I thought was like, man, this really sucks. But it's like, man, like that's kind of borders lose value exponentially because like, yeah, you can just spend an action. That's not really that big of a deal. But when you realize you get so few actions, it's like, okay, that's like a more of a dedicated turn of not doing anything. Have you read Traveler, Highguard, or Brilliant Lances? You can only have 2 big ships. Yes, pretty much. That's all you can really afford. No, actually. I've not actually read Traveler. I like Traveler. I played a full Traveler game. I had a blast playing Traveler. We really only used a base book. I've used, what's its name? It's the Merchant expansion. I've read that book though like 4 times. I love the Merchant expansion because it's exactly what I was looking for. Can you not destroy a ship from the inside? With the base Marines, you cannot. With base Marines, you cannot. Certain special ones allow you to, but not really. It's like do 2 damage, which doesn't seem like 2 damage doesn't seem like a lot, but like the Masawu heavy carrier has 16 HP, so 2 damage is quite a bit. Or you inflict things like Gray Plague on it, but those are really specific. Being the boarding phase is entirely about being a dick. That's what it really boils down to, be a dick. However, this is an important note as well. Oh no! That's an escort ship carrying a bunch of Marines. Fire all cannons. Avoid exploding, Oh no! All my friends are dead. Because I'm going to give you a secret about what this section actually is. And why there's like this weirdly extensive boarding phase here. Boarding actions are also represent an ideal place to take a break from Battlegroup and play out a mission in Lancer if your group wants to get into the action with their own mechs and pilots. This is still a supplement. The rules for boarding are extensive as they are is because it's easy to get aboard a ship, and then that means you can play Lancer. Yeah, so you want to play want to play Lance Arena while you play Battlegroup? That's great. And here it is, everybody. The gear. The gear. I'm ready. I'm ready. Also, before we begin, why isn't this capitalized? Mr. Tabe, Mr. Tabe, you have editors. You have editors. Why didn't they catch this capitalization error? Why? 2 years. 2 years. Ugh, Paragon-chan, why? No, Paragon-chan, look away. Why is Notepad growing? Because I am angry. Yeah, it's for $20. Again, you gotta remember, like, how much is this game? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. We want to do playroll.com. Let's see. This full game is $25. This is equal price to Lancer. And there are capitalization errors. Again, I don't usually harp on things like this, but again, 2 years, and this isn't like a small little indie company who can't even afford to eat. Ooh. Can you build a Paragon though? No, you cannot. You know, it's like, however great the distance, begin to wind their way toward each other as they seek out more advantageous positions. Shorter distances open up new avenues of attack. So, unlike many tactical combat games, Battlegroup doesn't use a grid. Nature of medieval combat in 3 dimensions is too complex to track in such a manner, except all the times it has been tracked. You know, so combat is tracked on abstract representation. Alright, you know, cool. Pretty much what it is, this is the Gear map. The gear, the winding gear. Now, initially, when me and Manly were going through this game, we're like, okay, like, it's like a little map that you can move around. The answer is, though, it is not. You have exactly 6 locations. You can go extreme, long, scope, collapsing, close, and point blank. These are the places you can move, because this is a more accurate representation of the map. You will be moving inexplicably closer to point blank range. You will always be moving toward point blank. You can't hang back. You must always head straight toward point blank. Because this is not a battlefield. This is a winding gear. Which brings me to the tipping point. 5th round, you can make a run for it. However, round 6, you will all move from any range to long range. Your extreme range, if you're taking little pot shots, you're going to move to long range all of a sudden. You're forced. You can no longer fall back. Anything now is going... Now, anything at long range or scope range immediately moves to collapsing range the next round. And in the 8th round, it's point blank range. It's do or die. There is no... It's survive, surrender, win, or die. There's no going back. You cannot retreat. Round 7 is the last moment to retreat. You want to duke it out? You want to go fist to fist? You gotta fight it. No. Sorry, Varric. Sorry. That doesn't work that way. Everybody gets a capital ship if you want. Why are you always forced closer? The explanation of how it's worked, and I get what they are going for, but this is also one of the things I don't much care about the game, is the idea being that instead of representing, you know, range or, you know, anything like, you know, range, position, or anything like that, what it is you getting in closer and closer for the ideal shot. I want to get in as close as physically possible to shoot you. Bring every gun to bear. Bring every weapon I have to bear. Every single thing. So as the battle goes on, they're maneuvering closer to you, you're maneuvering closer to them, and until at the very end, at round 8, you are literally face to face and blasting each other to hell and back. Because these ranges aren't ranges necessarily, they are distances. It might take, at extreme range, it might take you an hour for them to actually register hits. Because again, we're hard sci-fi, we're not fun sci-fi. This is where things get, I don't much care, and why again you have a tonal issue. You cannot maneuver in this game. There's no maneuvering. You can't, okay, because at first I thought, alright, so here's the little map, split in like 4 sections, and you're always kind of moving, you're trying to maneuver to where they are, versus where they are, but technically, all 3, you might have 2 enemies and 2 allies. If you're all in extreme range, you're all in extreme range, but if you're one person's in point blank range, and everybody else is in extreme, they get all the bonuses of being in point blank range, you get all the bonuses of being in extreme range. But what do you point blank with? No one. So every player has its own pizza map. No, not every player has its own pizza map. You're on the same pizza map. That's the beautiful thing, because this is the pizza map. All it is, I think the best way to kind of think about this in like a, in kind of a more of a visual sense, I'm gonna, give me 1 second, I will actually set this up in a more visual sense for people. Because it's a little bit weird to explain. Let's see, I have, where's some, do I have some tokens in here that I can use? No, I have no tokens to use. Okay, here's what I'll... Let's take this for example. Here's our fleet. We're all at extreme range right now. If the wrench guy here wants to move up, what's going to happen? He's going to move here. Let's say the clown man wants to move up. He moves to 3 eventually. We are all at different ranges, and like my battle group is moving at different range, you know, at different places than your battle group, and we're all kind of inexplicably moving toward 0. This is the final moment, is that we all hit 0. That is what we want to do. That is the end goal. That is how movement, and that's how the battle map actually works. You're all in there as battle fleets. Who is the bloody center? There is no center. That's the beautiful thing. You're just heading toward that. This is just a pure abstraction. Because each range has different bonuses. So, for example, at extreme range, all charge attacks get +1 accurately. Everything else gets a difficulty. You're at a significant disadvantage for firing at long range, but not cripplingly so. Anytime you fire payload, it's 5 flight counters. It's going to take 5 turns for something that you fire to hit. But you may wonder, at 5 turns, at 5 rounds, it's going to hit. These are unavoidable. So if you manage to time everything correctly, such as you got some guys at 3, some close range, you got there, you fire yours and they fire theirs and another person fires there, they might be running into like 7 different attacks happening all at once to the same fucking section. It's like, oh, wow, wowzers. Long range, did extreme, okay, use long range sensors, some remodeling suites. Same thing. Scope range is, you can kind of think about as the ideal range. This is the range you want to be in. It's everything is, there's no benefits, there's no modifiers. Collapsing range has even less. Pretty much the advantage of scope range is everyone's kind of like, you're in an advantage and disadvantage. Any longer range weapons stop being effective at scope range. Because there are some weapons that can only be used at certain distances. Scope range is usually the cutoff point. Collapsing range, on the other hand, is like you're pretty close. Like it's time. Like everyone starts shooting at each other. And finally, close range between fleets is reduced no more than an hour of travel time. All single target attacks get +1 accuracy. Payloads have 1 flight counter. If you're firing torpedoes, you fire them now, because next round they're going to impact. Air attacks made from and against battle groups in this range band deal +2 damage. Why? Don't think about it. Finally, point blank. All single targets have +1 accurately. Any area attack does +4 damage. Payloads hit instantly but deal half damage and cannot be interdicted. Any damage, you are hit. Attacks made from and against this range cannot be interdicted. You're taking full damage from everything. The entire interdiction rules, that won't work in point blank, and everyone's going to hit point blank at the end. You see the problem, Merrick. you see the problem, Merrick. Yeah, unfortunately, we cannot have Mantis Type 2 FTL ships. Are there shields? Sort of. Yes. No. Maybe. Honestly, I really wish there was just the FTL Mantis ship. Just like, oh yeah, by the way, here's some things to fuck your day up. I'd be down. The posture and uptime actions. Basic idea. The big idea, what you can do at the start of, pretty much before the battle really begins, you can either choose an uptime action or choose your posture. Your posture determines where you're going to start. Hey, we're at extreme range, we're in long range, or we're in scope range. If you have close range guns, you warp in immediately to aggressive posture and you hit the fuck you button. You hit the fire every gun we own button. And it's like, damn, zam. Yeah, but also, if you go for the conservative posture, you may use one additional tactic. Or, now nominal posture is where you want to start, though. That's where you start. Uptime actions are your pre-action actions that allow you to focus in on certain things, including generally helping out, generally making things easier. Now, for example, this is where your captain actually comes into use. The character we made. This is actually where things become relevant. Being virile, stubborn, or inconvenient thought hemorrhage. Where, let's say, for example, I want to, do one of these. I'll explain this first, though. What you're going to do is you're going to roll a d20 on an uptime action. And you determine what this result is, and then you consult whatever it is. That's what you do. If it's relevant, you're gonna add a d6. If it is unfortunately relevant for, let's say, inconvenient thought hemorrhage, you're gonna take away a d6. Let's say we want to consult navigation and intelligence. Gunnery's only business end of navigation and intelligence. Well, you can maintain relative speed and distance from other ships in the battle group. Okay, let's roll. 10. Cool. Cool. I rolled 10. All systems are nominal and you report the requested arrives on your desk promptly. You gain a banked difficulty die and you may ask the GM 3 questions about the upcoming battle, which they must answer truthfully. As outlined above. Alright. So what you can do a lot of the time is bank dice. These are what a lot of these do. So I could bank a difficulty dice and be like, okay, they're attacking me, but instead I can use my difficulty die, and now they're taking a d6 penalty to it. Or I might bank an accuracy die for later, and I'm going to be making the big hit, adding my d6. That's really all it is. And there's quite a few of these. Again, consult navigation, consult senior officers, a lot of course, power at cost. This is my favorite one, however, because it's funny. FTL suicide nuke bomber. You don't understand, I'm making a Star Wars reference. So, give me a second. Calamity! You realign directly to the enemy line. Your battle group collides with an enemy element. The warning klaxons how an automated system struggle to balance damage control protocols with life support mandates. You take stock. This fight is going to be a mess. You collide, both suffering an immediate and unavoidable 2d6 damage. You have effectively rammed. Distribute the damage among your capital ships as you wish. Distribute damage taken by NPC battle group to see fit among that. Roll 1d3 exactly where you begin play. Long range, scope range, or collapsing range. You have crashed into an enemy battle fleet. You have crashed into them. You also now are going to start at long range. You can then choose, like, oh, you failed to account for some critical variable. And you can choose, if you get a 20 up, you can choose. Or you can just do the, I want to get some random things, whatever I feel like. This is the random thing where you talk to your robot about dreams and shit. Yeah, a lot of these boil down to either setting postures or trying to get like a little bonus here and there. So it's like, okay, all right, simple enough. Nothing too extreme, nothing too amazing either. So it's like, oh, cool. It's one of those, cool. Fuck. Knockback, goofy, bonk. Yeah, no, it's like, trigger the, the Benny Hill theme as you, like, slam into an enemy fucking ship. But don't worry, it's fine. It's fine, don't think about it. It's fine. This doesn't do anything. It's great. Yeah, most of these kind of boil down to the same thing, except they're narratively a little bit different. Yeah, it's like, let's say, for example, like, consult gunnery and engineering. You may reroll one of your attack or damage rolls, but must keep the second result. Tactical analysis, can you leverage available resources? You may choose one option from the reserves table to bring with you an upcoming engagement. And some of these reserves, I only need D6s, only need D6s and D10. But let's say I rolled an 8, so that would be a 4. Veteran Marines, best thing to do with the ship full of Marines is point them toward the enemy. You may equip a Marine lander to one of your ships without using an upgrade slot. One engagement when this unit fails a boarding roll, you may instead declare a roll a success and then destroy this unit. Ah, that's something you just get. Neat. Neato burrito, they might even say. Because here's the odd thing with how these work. At least how I read it. So, one of the strange things with how these work and kind of understanding some of the nature of how the setting functions is, I'm going to do my best to explain this. You have warped in. There's a battle going on. You bring your crew out of stasis. Everyone drills to begin with, and then we begin to fight. Like, you literally stay in stasis for a time, and then you come back out of stasis. It's like, what? Like, all right. Yes, no. No. Give me 1 second. Chrome is impossible to find. It is a web app. A book. Yeah. Gotta make sure. Yeah, don't. Wusto, if you're listening, there is no no. Yeah, that doesn't exist. There's no book for Chrome. Don't worry, Luca. Don't worry. I trust you, brother. Don't worry. Yeah, so we've learned all about this. These are like, the reserves are like special little things, and you just get a random one of them. It's so great. It's cool. This is the damage and destruction chart. So if you ever hit 0 HP, you are disabled. You know, it's a whole life support system, and reserve ruptured, navcom, you're fucked. You're having to abandon ship. But let's say you take critical damage. Oh man, guys. I'm at negative 10 HP. The ship is immediately destroyed by an attack. The brief, catastrophic explosion as critical systems rupture immediately kills nearly everyone on board. Survivors of the blast are limited to the single digits. Few live longer than a few handful of moments after the initial explosion. It's not salvageable, having been reduced to a drive rupture to a glittering plume of slag debris. Yes, your ship explodes in this game, literally everybody dies. There is many, everyone explodes and we're all going to die, unfortunately, sections. If you want to eject, oh man, we left the fight, guys. We quickly ejected out of the fight. We come back. Oh man, we lost 5% of the crew. Just immediately killed. Oh man, that sucks. Due to a misaligned error, ship translates to normal and discover ejection place you far off course. Dead in the water. Oh man. Jump successful, all clear. But you don't track crew though. You can't kill crew or anything like that. And so here's all the various benefits. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, it's like, all right, what's hostiles, all the counters, what's interdiction. This is where you really learn about the interdiction stuff. It's not really common. Like, you're only going to get certain numbers. Lock-on is the most valuable thing in the world. Yeah, uptime. Uptime. This time is usually full of drills and trading, maintenance, intelligence gathering, resupply, replenishment, sensitive navigation, and so on. Downtime is when the crew's in stasis. Yeah, downtime is when you're in stasis. You go to uptime when you are not in stasis. That means you are in stasis almost all the time. So, let's learn about weapons, everybody. Here's all our various weapons. Weapon types. Super heavy weapons are your big, scary, awful, horrifying ones. These are your calamity cannons. These are the things you take and you roll and you kill. We've done a catastrophic amount of damage, but usually these things have to charge. You always need to charge up and open again. Always need to keep charging these things. And you may only be able to fire these once or twice around, but these are the things that are going to kill ships. Now, primary weapons are your main battery weapons, backbone of fleet armament. Auxiliary are pretty much a point defense. You can only really use auxiliary in kind of certain situations, such as when you're firing a primary weapon. Auxiliary weapons, you don't see that often. None of my ships had auxiliary weapons. Upgrade tags, boarding. Oh, I'm an accurate weapon. I'm a boarding weapon. I have charge, and that's very important. Here's the in-lore reasons why you don't charge up your calamity cannon immediately. Let's see. Chrome PDF is real. Can we get much higher? So high. Yeah, your crew means nothing. You could roll a 20 on the you lost 20% of your crew and it does physically nothing. You could be at 0, you can be at 1 HP. There might be holes through your fucking ship. Does not matter. But don't worry, guys. Legion space. That's how everything works. It's non-human persons. That's fine. You know, criticals, escorts. Yeah, escorts are your like main thing to take. Like, you want to deal with escorts sometimes quickly, sometimes not, depending on what they are. Greywash is another kind of insidious bastard. Greywash is annoying because what happens is it's pretty much bleed. Actually, the best way to think about it is poison counters or bleed counters. You're going to take damage equal to the number of counters you have, and then you remove them. So let's say I give you 5 Greywash counters. You're going to take 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1, and then no. This is actually one of the major ways to deal with ships internally is to fire Greywash at them. Which is pretty much Grey Goo nightmare monsters that we've created. Why? I don't know. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Overkill, you know. When rolling damage at this weapon, any dice that land on 1 are immediately re-rolled. Additional ones can be triggered the effect. Overshield, temporary HP. Payload. Pretty much payload is the number, these are missiles and shit like that. You're going to keep removing payload counters. Oof. Now, this is the interesting bit, is, like, once you fire a payload weapon, you can't refire your payload until they're exploded. Why that's the case, I do not know. I don't know why that's the case at all. Because the thing is, there's no ammo in this game either. This isn't like, oh, I have only have a dozen torpedoes. I only have that. No, you can fire as many torpedoes as you want, and you can fire as many missiles as you want. You just can't fire them again as long as they're kind of while they're flying. It's like, oh. Cool. No reliable weapons. Always going to deal X damage. Oh boy. Alright. Loading. Got systems. Tenacity. It's unique. It's a wing. Okay, so here's our ships. The battle group. We got to build a battle group. We have 20. We have exactly 20 points to spend. And buy hulls for capital ships. Capital ships are heart of the battle group, so keep track of each one. HP defense. You must have at least 2 capital ships. One's going to be your flagship. Your flagship gets more HP, higher interdiction, and even more system slots, which is pretty good. However, yeah, your flagship is the big thing. Even though, technically, I would say if you lost your flagship, you're fucked. Like, you're not having a good time. You know, variety of shipwrights, but don't worry. You only have a certain number of hulls. Now, the big thing is you can only have up to 3 frigates, 2 carriers, and or only a single battleship. I chose to have 2 carriers in my ship, but you're always encouraged to have at least two capital ships. This is your main expense, though. Now, if you don't spend all your points, you're going to spend all your points. You can set a posture. You put more accuracy dice or boost an uptime action. Spend all your points, though. Spend all of them. Do it now. Please, fuck. Please, I'm begging you. Please, you don't understand. You know, so like, oh, here, you should, avail for constructing a battle group. You feel overwhelmed. Many NPCs have been played with a move battle group along the Gaia, representing their ability to shift the lines of battle in their favor. You do not. Only act effectively one specific range band. Note, however, some systems upgrades allow you to mitigate these movement effects to some extent. Yeah, the thing is, they are giving you everything you need. That's the big thing. They're going to hand you every single thing there, and this is what a standard battle group, or kind of a standard battle group might look like. As you can kind of see here, these are 3 ships in this battle group. All he has is a battleship and 2 frigates. This is his entire battle group. Now, Mongolian Lambert, obviously, going to the Zap Brannigan School of Naval Warfare, and is that he chose 2 carriers. That means I got a lot of tools to play with. I actually have probably the largest number of ships available. Of just stuff. I have 3 fighter wing. I have, let's see, 3 basic wings. 2, so I have 5 wings in total, a corvette, escort, and a marine boat, including my 2 giant carriers. But that's not a lot. And like, even this, he's like, oh, I got banked accuracy. Don't do that. Just buy better things. Just buy more. So, basic ones. You know, here's, do you give a shit about GNS, Harrison Armory, the Karakan shipyards of IPS North Star? I don't. But this is what a standard ship is going to look like. This is the Caspian Sea class frigate. As you can kind of see here, look at that. Look how beautiful and pretty it is. You're going to end up with how many points it costs, its HP, its defense, and what options it can choose. You can choose one primary, one auxiliary. And also, everything has a special little trait here, as you can see. Yeah, almost all of these are going to have traits, and all of them are going to do something slightly different. So the Huron class frigate. Frigates are your small ones that you are kind of supposed to be using to take the brunt of damage, and each of these do something slightly different. So it's like, oh, hey, you know, repair drones. When this frigate is assigned to a defensive scream, it scream and repairs for 2 HP. You can use a tactic once per round, you know, once per combat. You know, one of your capital ships escorts. Oh, ranged man repairs 5 HP. Oh, cool. 3 points. Get a bunch of these guys. You know, the Creighton class frigate doesn't have literally anything else. It just has a doom weapon attached to it. But have no fear. It has a targeting laser. It's got calibrated firing platforms. It's got the, you know, things, but it has to choose which one does it want. Does it want to take lock on, which you should always take because lock on's really fucking good. Oh, cool. All right. There's clearly a lot of stuff here that you can really do. That's the thing. Like, that's one thing I kind of want to like emphasize here. Yeah. Okay, I'll better look at Brilliant Lances. Have a great evening. Yeah, it's. Do you like looking at some of these ships? I mean, some of them look cool. Some of them are kind of interesting. I'm like, neat. Oh well, the penis ship can't equip that. Like, oh well, here's this frigate. This is what it's a pocket carrier. Oh, kind of neat. Or oh, there's clearly a lot of stuff that you can do with these, and if you really take time and effort, also, boom. I didn't quite realize how massive her tits are in this. Like, Jesus Christ Almighty. Like, ma'am, those are 2 globes, like, fucking nailed to your chest. Like Zambino. Let me just, like, Zamorano. I just kind of realized that, like, Jesus. Yeah, carriers are the things carriers sometimes don't like have any armaments. They just have wings, which your wings allow you to do other things. Now, I chose, let me see, I chose the heavy carrier at the very end. Some of these things look fucking ridiculous, by the way, which I'm not a huge fan of some of the ship designs. Because remember, hard sci-fi. Not afraid, or are you just happy to see me? Yeah, some of these... We're a hard sci-fi setting where things really matter. Meanwhile, you have this shit. Singularity catapults. You know, the Tawa class medium carrier. Almost took this one, but I eventually went with this one, the Masuwu class. Now, the Masuwu has it's 6 points, very expensive carrier, 16 HP, 12 defense. People only need to roll a 12 or higher to actually hit this thing in combat. But it has quite a few, 2 wings, 2 escorts. I only went with 1 escort, unfortunately. I technically went with 1 escort and a marine boat, so I want to get up close. But, oh wow, once a round, when you use tactics to command one of your ship's escorts, you may also issue a command to another of its escorts or wings for free. And I have a lot of, I have marine boats, I have corvette escorts. I actually have a lot of things to kind of maneuver around here. If I wanted to be really efficient about things, what I would probably do is swap the Legion wings for the fighter wings. That's what I would probably do, is kind of swap those around, with the idea being that every time I'm using my corvette to deal damage to you, I can instead use my fighter wings to also deal damage to you. So it's just this constant, ticking of damage. Now, battleships are your big boys. These are the things that kill people. The Muri class. The absolute, biggest, chunkiest boy I could find, which, Louis the 14th. Yeah, I don't get the naming schemes at all. It's been 4,000 years, and I don't know why people are. The Michael Ney class. Let's see. The Calendula class battle cruiser. The Last Argument of Kings. Maximum power. Hesperus class battle cruisers. And some of these are actually pretty fucking massive when it comes to their traits. This changes the entire nature of how you fight. It's a pretty big thing. I went with this boy. This big sack of shit. The Greenland class battle cruiser, because it has 3 wings, a primary, and a super heavy. Now, this is the big thing. They have the hook jab. What I want to do is I want to constantly lock on, and you may also issue command to one of its ships for its wings for free. So I constantly want to lock on. I want someone to lock on, I want them to fire, and then I immediately am going to follow up with more wings. I'm going to hit you with my bombers, I'm going to hit you with my wings. Which also leads to body blow, which repair one of the ship's wings to full HP, even if it's been destroyed, and fire 1 super heavy weapon or up to 2 primary weapons. Command to all the ship's wings for free. This is your gimmick, pretty much. You want to get as close as physically possible, and then hit them with every single thing at once. This was the other one that was very close, the Iliad class command carrier, because this thing looks ridiculous. But I decided to go for a gimmick one. Here's the summary of everything you could possibly want. Carriers, battleships. This is really it. This is all you really get to kind of mix and choose and mix, which I don't hate. Yeah, it's the names fucking suck. Names are kind of wonky. The names are kind of all over the place. But yeah, here are some of the basic weapons. This is the most standard, hardcore charge weapon available, which is the long cycle primary lance. Which is, after 3 rounds, you can fire. You're always going to do a minimum of 3 damage. However, if you've noticed, it does 12 damage outright. And if you manage to roll a 20 or higher, you're going to actually deal 24 damage. 24 damage instantly kills my heavy carrier, cripples my battle carrier. See how dangerous these things are. Or, the 3x3 short spool cannons. 6 damage, but I can use them pretty reliably everywhere. It's cool. It's Nito Burrito. I can use this. Now, the problem is with the primary lance is I can't use it at point blank range, unfortunately. But I can definitely, I can't even use it here, really. It's like, yeah, I have to go to like 5, or like, oh, it's the anti-capital torpedoes. Like, yeah, anti-capital torpedoes will kill you. These will outright kill you sometimes. And that's why, like, I'm not a... And mind you, these are 2 points, these are 2 points. You don't realize how expensive these are. Like, 20 points seems like a lot. But to give you an idea, both of these were 12... To get 2 of my mandatory, mind you, mandatory, capital ships cost me 12 of my 20 already. And be like, why don't you just get frigates then? And what I kind of realized over time, kind of reading through this, is... if I go to the notepad here. What I kind of realized, weirdly enough, is that normally fleets are composed... Like, fleets usually have a lot of screens. It's a thing, screens with few capitals. Large-ass naval engagements don't actually have many capital ships aboard. But the weird thing in this... Many screens, few capitals. The weird thing in Lancer, that it's entirely possible that you're going to have a very large, like, engagement with, like, your side. Let's say you have 3 players. You might have 6 ships. They might have, like, 6 ships. That's all. It's literally just, that's a fleet battle. Is 6 just capital tier ships blowing each other to smithereens. Because anything smaller than a frigate is a side benefit that you have to buy in addition to one of your capitals. So it's like, okay, so like, I'm like, oh, that's sounds weird to me. Like, okay, that's, for what it's trying to say, it's kind of odd. Because it's like, oh, you're a battle group, you're a fleet. But your fleet is actually just 12 capital ships or 12 carriers flying at a, straight ahead. It's like, all right. Now, some of these actually do have quite a bit of things going on with them. I don't actually hate a lot of these. It's like, the Spinal Linac Coherent Beam Cannon. Single target, charge 2. It can crit, so it can do 16 damage. And it's pretty just a nice, reliable little weapon. While some do more gimmick damage. Oh, goodness. Shatter enemy Fleet Legion Cohesion, deal +2 damage for each non-template escort in the target battle group. Oh. Nice. All right. We are, as they say, gaming. Well, 3 points already is hellishly expensive. So they have to kind of mitigate that through the idea of 0-point things. Where you're going to get a lot of options here that are entirely based off of 0 points. So let's say the conical kinetic projectors, these don't cost anything, but you're going to do 6 to 8 damage consistently. But here's the problem. So you want to get up close. Or it's like, oh, hey, you want to do Razorback missiles, it's going to do D6 plus 6 damage. It's a payload, so don't forget that. Let's do lock-on, always do lock-ons. Lock-on is king. Single stage torpedoes, quite a decent amount of damage. Now, the scary thing when it comes to things like the torpedoes and stuff, or even down like the Razorback missiles. Let's say, for example, I end up in a situation where you are getting hit by 3 Razorback missiles. That's going to do 3d6 plus 18 damage. They cannot have that, however. So they mitigate it and be like, oh, well, you can't fire that many missiles all at once. This is where you coordinate with your teammates. This is where you coordinate with your friends. If you coordinate with your friends, what you can do is make everyone's life miserable for everybody involved and just hit them with a shit ton of missiles all at once. It's great. Yeah, short cycling lance batteries, tandem spread torpedoes. It's kind of, yeah, like boarding torpedoes. Here it is. Yep. Gemini laser array. Ooh. Heavy kinetic bat. Ooh. It's 1 point. Ooh. Look at all the little things. Ooh. Oh, you want Dark Star, multiple warhead torpedoes? Oh boy, it becomes useless after round 7. Ooh, I'm did. Ooh. Now this is like the mass accelerator turrets are the one that I realized were like really good. Because you can do, all it does is your 1d6 plus 1 damage, but you do 3 damage to hostile escorts. That's a decent chunk of damage to these things. You can kind of even see when it comes to auxiliary weapons, because you get to fire these as well. So, fly swatter missile, secondary turrets, messenger lead lasers. If you always are going to be able to outfit your weapons completely. There's even systems that are able for you to mitigate and do things with. It's like, cool. Yeah, like I picked up clear to land on my flagship right here because you always get a free system for your flagship. And with clear to land, once a combat, I get all of my escorts and wings, or all escorts and wings belong to allied battle group. Repair 2 HP. One escort or wing of your choice can restore 4 HP. That doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot of these things only have a few HP. So being able to heal all of that is pretty damn good. You know, it's like, oh, fire for effect. Insightful commanders, single plane shielding. Steady now. Anti-cognitional hyperfractals, legions, oh boy. Stealth shrouding. Anything about, I would say anything above like 2 points is becoming a gimmick. So it's like, oh, I wouldn't take the battle space CIC. If you're taking the battle space CIC, that means that you are, this is your gimmick now. This is the 2 things that you have to build around. It's Lancer building. If you've ever like been really hardcore about like, I gotta build the best mechs in Lancer or else I don't like it. It's builds. You want to do builds. There are going to be people making videos, probably not though, because I haven't really seen that much on this game. There would be people making builds about this is the optimal way to make this. If you want to make the best possible combination of things, this is how you do it. Fuck the game, you know, fuck the role-playing aspect. If you want to optimize, this is how you play. So, this is, you know, escorts and wings. Escorts are like bigger ships, and wings are like fighter wings, effectively. You don't get that many escorts. Which I wish there, and they also, again, it's not hard. I don't know why they don't do this. But it feels like there wasn't a second pass, if that makes sense. Ship is destroyed. All, you know, escorts and wings equipped are also considered destroyed. Technically, your wings are actually mechs. Like, your actual, kind of like your fighter wings and bomber wings can also be mechs with Ava suits on. And that could be cool, but they just kind of don't do that. And if you want to go carrier spam, you're going to have no fucking points, by the way. Because the most basic escort is 0 cost. It's the shitty fucking marine landers. Which, it's like, oh. Which also leads to things like the destroyer escorts. Destroyer escorts, as you can kind of see, 2-3 damage is actually quite a bit against these guys. And these guys kind of do their own thing, which all of them are a tactic. You choose 1 destroyer assigned to your battle group and give the following order commands. Deal 3 damage to a hostile command ship, snap flight torpedoes. Because these guys don't roll. That's the great thing. They do not roll. They simply do. Now, I chose to pick up Corvette escorts. As you kind of see here, I chose Corvette escort, you know, because the big thing is once around when you lock onto a ship, you may deal 1 damage for each of these escorts in your battle group, up to a maximum of 4 damage. And I can trade blows, do a defensive formation, or a gun run. 2 area target damage hostile battle group, consuming a lock on from capital ships or escorts in the battle group. Cool. Like, I like the idea of like trading blows. Like, I want to take some damage, I want to deal some damage. Corvettes don't have a lot of HP, but I don't need them to do a lot of HP. My goal is to be a dick. Or maybe I want to do some sublime pickets. the one thing I would wish is that there were more things for me to do with these. But like, really, a lot of these boil down to like, here's another tactic you can use, but that tactic can explode. You know, the task with deploying minefield. This one's funny because what happens is you can deploy it in front of you or behind you. If you deploy it behind you, anybody coming into that minefield is going to take damage. However, if you do it the other direction, if you do it in front of you, anyone coming into yours is going to take damage. However, this does lead to the situation where if you want to be a major dick, is everybody rushes toward the center and then immediately lays down mines. And anyone coming in is going to take damage. They're going to take 10 area target damage, and they might take 20 area target damage if you're doing all these fucking mines everywhere. It's AIDS. So sub-lanterns, these are kind of what I mean by when it comes to boarding. Let's say, for example, you can infiltrate, sabotage areas, ship, hazardous and inaccessible to humans. What they look like. What occurs is when they do things, they can actually do damage. These are the guys who can actually blow ships up. So when this unit succeeded, sabotage fire control ship, they can either add 1 charge counter to the charged weapon, or they take 5 damage. Once a round. Board ship fail or repel this unit, the ship takes 2 damage. These guys, if you want to do actual honest-to-God boarding aids, you're doing pipe cleaners. You're doing shit like that, because that's what's going to be able to actually do the damage. Thank you very much, Yanzu. Thank you for subscribing. Wink. Wink. Subscribe with Primarino. Cruiser. Then these are all the wings. Wings also cost money, which you don't have points for, and this is why double carriers aids, and you shouldn't do it. This is the cheapest one, the Legion Drone Nexus. Reduce hostile damage jet to an escort or wing by the Battlegroup or allied battle group in the same range banned by 1. This wing takes 2 damage. Additionally, so pretty much you can use these things as kind of like a blade of armor. As part of this, you may assign another unused Legion drone for your battle to join the sortie, giving them the same command. Allied battle groups in your range band deal tactic to command your Legion drone nexus as if they were under their control. You want to spam these things. I have quite a few of these things, and these are the big ones. Deal 1 damage to hostile ships, or deal 2 damage to hostile escort or wing, and take 2 damage in return. So you can do 1 damage, or you can do that. But if you have multiple of these things at once, you suddenly can deal 3-4 damage. I have 2 of these things. Consistently, every round, I can do 2 damage to a capital ship or an escort or a wing. Doesn't seem like a lot. However, if I have 3 of these things operating at once, I can do 6 damage to something and immediately kill them. Same thing goes for fighters. They only cost 1 point to get more interdiction. It's, or like, oh, here's some more interdiction. You get some more things. You get bomber wing, mounted chassis wings. But these are really expensive. Not gonna lie. These are very expensive. But a lot of the time, they're gonna do about the same thing. There is this rule, like you could do an ace squadron. If you do really good, they become better and they get like special upgrade trees. This is the only time they do anything. Basic advancements. When you level up, you don't level up in this game. What happens is you get commendations, and a commendation is things like the Azure Star, which, oh man, look at all these cool things. Got a little decoration, but during an engagement, players with this commendation may automatically convert a successful attack into a critical hit or convert a hostile critical hit into a normal hit. However, these they are consumed. So if you get the communal order ribbon, you can only do it once per engagement. May reduce damage taken to an allied capital ship to 0. However, the capital ship takes that much damage. However, once you use that, it's done. It's Jover. That's really it. And there's quite a few of these, and they all do something slightly different. But really what it boils down to is equip this, do this, done. Like, oh. Legacies are, the more times you use a ship, the more it's going to keep it. Like, that's the idea. Your legacies are your kind of like weird narrative, like commendations for ships. So these are what can happen. Like, oh, your ship is bloodthirsty. Start of each battle, one of those ship's weapon gains the critical tag. Oh, it's cursed. The first time in battle this ship would be destroyed, it survives with 1d6 HP remaining. You may sacrifice its weapon and upgrades to increase the amount by 2 HP. Or it's headstrong. During the logistics phase, you can do all of these things. Or it's mighty. Reroll damage dealt by any weapons on hit, but it must keep the second result. Cool. Like, that's pretty much it. Reputations are like this is actually how you improve your captain. Is you have to use more reputation. So let's say, for example, I get a beacon. I become a beacon. People want to follow me. I get to choose one advance as well as a trait and a positive trait and a negative trait related to it. So it's like, oh, I get the voice of authority. This is my move. These do not do anything in game, really. Like, these are purely narrative or purely by a scene or something like that. That's really what it boils down to. And there's quite a few of these. I mean, if that's what you like, but it leads to kind of my bigger question of like, what the fuck is this game? What are you, Lancer Battlegroup? Are you an RPG or are you a war game? Because here's all, the rules of war. Done. Surrender. Fire on them. Fire on all of them. It's like, oh, here's all this very dramatic shit going on. Do not give a rat's ass. But they're like, here's how you mix things up. Here's how to make, like, celestial bodies. The absolute most funny one, though. Let me see if I can find the, where's the, yes, here we go. This is the most funny. If NPCs are defending their own battle lines, place them in a position where area target attacks made against them may impact the terrestrial body or populated airspace. Hundreds of thousands of civilians and garrison soldiers may die, and there may be minor through widespread damage to facilities. Players may avoid this by reducing the damage that an area attack deals by half after interdiction, like gunners trimming the area for effect in order to avoid causing collateral damage. Now, interestingly enough, you, the player, can also, like, I would say, hey, why don't we just not do that? Like, what if we what if we mitigate damage and instead bring it to civilians? Why not? Yeah, here's reinforcements. There's some NPC battle groups that broaden to replace losses. Because again, you, like Lancer, you're not actually building a fleet necessarily of like similar mechs. That's not how that works. You have NPC fleets. You have NPC things that are specific to them and them alone. And also here's campaign play. No one gives a fuck about campaign play. One of the ideas one of the concepts behind the campaign play is that you're progressing from one battle fleet to the other depending on the outcome of the previous battle. Hey, we have a decisive victory. Awesome. Or, hey, we have a crippling, Pyrrhic victory. This is going to hurt. You're following a little track. And that's really it. It's homeworld, effectively. You're playing homeworld, but bad. Decisive losses. The little campaign tree. Oh, boy. The battle group and Lancer. Hey, you want to play a Lancer as well? So NPC battle groups actually get a capital ship and 3 escorts. They don't get 2. They get just 1. So let's say, for example, you have to fight where's a good one? The Corsair. Let's say this is the Corsair capital ship. This is all the things that they have. They got the Scrapcaster, they have raiding parties, they have Legion Space Sirens. This is like their capital ship. This is the thing that they want to do. They want to get close and they want to fuck your day up. Then they get a series. Also, here's the coming rainbow ship. And then if we go all the way down, because there's actually quite a few different of these little capital ships that you cannot play with, by the way. You are not going to be playing with these capital ships. Then you just kind of get any of your escorts. Cool. Which you can choose to have, let's say, 2 battle threads along with you. It'd be like, yeah, here's more damage you can do, or more brothers in arm. Roll a reliant pair of destroy slip through dagger flights. Cool, you can have a bunch of these. The idea is that you build if anytime you want to build a fleet, it really does boil down to like an enemy fleet. It's a capital, and if we go, I click on the right thing. Capital is a capital ship, 2 escorts. And let's say you have 3 players. That means you're going to be fighting. Let's say you have 3 players. You're going to fight being 3 capital ships. Plus 6 be 6 to, let's see, be 3 to 9 escorts. Congratulations, we did it. That's really it. That's what it boils down to. Yeah. And sometimes these are templates, like they can actually add on to something. Like you don't really, it's not really an escort, but it's a template instead. It's something put on top of a fleet to make it harder, to make it more difficult. These are additions to make things complicated. That's it, really. You know, here's some aces that are like, oh, these are kind of like the special ones, like the Endless Cosmonaut Wings, Older Valkyries, Vigilant Shepherds. And here's kind of the campaign. Here's the campaign you can do. You want to do campaign arcs? Yeah, here. Don't worry, everybody. Do campaigns if you want. I don't really care. Here's some more kind of like, oh, I want to do state characters. I want to do objectives. I want to do this. You want to really make Battlegroup your own. You can make Battlegroup your own. I just don't care. What's my opinion on Lancer Battlegroup? What's my honest to God opinion? My honest to God opinion is, why does this exist? You may make the argument, oh, well, no, Pad, this exists because we want to expand Lancer lore. But who... But why? Because I'm really gonna, like, at the end of the day, you have to judge something like this on 2 metrics. Is it a good Lancer supplement? And is it a good standalone game? These are the 2 metrics we have to judge it on. So, is Battlegroup a good Lancer edition? No. No, it's not. Why is that? Lancer Battlegroup has nothing to fucking do with Lancer. Absolutely nothing. Completely separate entity. To the point where it almost feels like it's trying to feel like obligated to be like, you can play Lancer if you want. And I think the concept, the idea was more along the lines of, oh, hey, you can do a Battlegroup mission in between your Lancer missions, or you can use it as the set piece of your Lancer missions. But then it's like, why not give us more? Why not provide more options, more things to implement Lancer stuff in it? Why don't you make this a what about Lancer and space combat? Cool. What add in things like 0G movements, and add in things like, hey, what does a Lancer look like in a boarding action? What does marine rays look like? What about like NPC companion, like kind of people on the ground a little bit more? Why isn't it that then? Why is it this entire different system that does its own completely different thing with 0 connection really to Lancer, except when it says you can just play Lancer instead? Second, is it a good standalone game? Race Lancer, you just call this Battlegroup, and it's all about space combat. No, it's not very good either, because it's not really about space combat. It's about being like, you make a build, you fight against that build, against another. It's a weird war game thing, but it's a RPG war game without any role-playing to it. Like, I don't know why the RPG aspect is there, because they don't play into it at all. It's a fucking secondary thing. This isn't like, oh, I'm a genius commander and I'm going to manipulate the field, or oh, I'm a swarthy pirate and I'm going to do things to manipulate the battlefield in favor of my wolf pack tactics. That's not really a thing in the game. Like, yeah, you can custom build a ship, but it doesn't really matter all that much because your commander doesn't really mean anything. Your commander means zero in the grand scheme of things. Your commander can die and nothing in the fleet changes. Oh, you've lost 50% of your crew, doesn't fucking matter. Oh, you're in critical straits and doesn't fucking matter. Your commander can die halfway through the fight and nothing will change. Nothing changes. So it's a war game. But as a war game, it's too simple. There's not any tactical movement. There's not any tactical decision making. You get a very limited number of actions. You get a very limited number of tactics. Limited options, limited tactics. So it's like, okay, I want more here. If I want a war game, I want more options. I want more toys. But I also want it to be balanced. I want my enemy to be on the same caliber as me, and I want my people to be on the same caliber as the enemy. But we're playing by Lancer logic. The enemy are of completely different ships, completely different ideas, completely different concepts than you. They're playing a different game. So you have the GM, but you aren't controlling a fleet, you're controlling a battle group of a fleet. And then going any larger than that doesn't work anymore because suddenly it gets a little bit weird. And like, why can I only have 2 capital ships? Why is there wings here? Why are escorts? It doesn't work then. It's mind-boggling. So, I think the final question I want to kind of preface this is, what is Lancer Battlegroup? What is this game? Is it an RPG? Remember that first question I asked you all. Is this an RPG? But you don't have any character. You have no character development. Or more accurately, your character does not matter. Because one of my big ideas behind a real tabletop role-playing game is the idea that your character matters. You are a fundamental player. You are important. Your actions mean something. But here you don't. It doesn't mean anything. So what does that mean? Your character is a non-factor. You have no stats. You have no abilities. You are effectively entirely reliant on your ship to do things. You don't even have the weird, like, triggers or anything unless you decide to add that into Lancer from the original, but then that stops making it a standalone game. I am mystified by you, Battlegroup. I want to know. What are you? Are you a war game? Are you a Lancer supplement? Or are you trying to be your own thing? But I don't think you do any one of those good. I think you're trying to be all 3 things at once. And then you can physically see your brain crunch on its back as you like start having a fucking stroke. Why doesn't it make any sense? Why is this the way that it is? Why are you the way you are, Lancer Battlegroup? That's kind of my definitive opinion on the matter. I don't know what Lancer Battlegroup is. I don't know how to judge this game. Do you judge it as a war game? Do you judge it as a supplement? Do you judge it as just an RPG? Because it doesn't do any of those well. Do you judge it by its own merits? If you judge it by its own merits, what is it then? That's the question. It's a circular question. Because you have to answer that primary directive. What is this? And that's going to be your answer and your opinions. It However, there's going to be people who probably buy the being like, it's Lancer, therefore it's good. No, I don't think so. Now I pressed this at the beginning of the stream. I don't like Lancer. I think the setting's stupid. This isn't selling me on it. This isn't like, this is the thing that I needed. No. If Lancer is a mech game for people who don't like mechs, is this a space game for people who don't like space games? Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's Lancer Battlegroup, everyone. A confusing mess of a game that may or may not work. But it's a confusing one, regardless. But before we, as we kind of end off on things, I'm actually gonna open this up. Unfortunately, give me a second. I have to do the fucking son of a motherfucker. God damn it! Fuck! Oh damn! Oh, fuck! Oh damn! Let's see. I want to do newest. Tabletop. So, actually, this does also bring me to another little note before we officially transfer over to me and my cock and ball torture. What about roll? What's my opinion on roll? It's another VTT. I think that's going to be the big thing with it. Am I seeing anything about it that other services do not already do? No. No, I'm not seeing anything that it does that's like better or worse than anything else. And I think that's the hard part about it. It's like, oh wow, this is super cool and it's awesome and neato, and it's like, I don't... What? Why? What are you? What are you really? Now, one thing that kind of is getting my noggin jogging a little bit here is this kind of what 1D&D is aiming to be? Like, part of me thinks so. Like, part of me thinks this is kind of what 1D&D wants to be. A single place, you know, it wants to be all the store, it wants to be the VTT, it wants you to play in there and do its own thing. The fact that they've already got exclusives on here is weird to me. And I think a lot of people have probably signed up to download Lancer Battlegroup and then play it elsewhere. Because, like, if this is your big showing, if these are your big showing, I'm like, ooh, I'm not, that's funny. That's funny. I don't know where Roll's gonna go. Maybe Roll will be amazing. Maybe Roll will be the next thing, but I'm not really feeling Roll. Because we already use Foundry, or I already use, you know, Tabletop Simulator. I already use other things. We already have our VTTs. I'm not going to switch over to this. There's no use for me to switch over to this. So, bear that in mind. So, cock and ball torture. Kiku starto. Now, I'm assuming there's not going to be that much, like, new stuff from Kickstarter. Simply because there isn't... Boys, I found it. I found our game. Autism Challenge board game. Fucking finally. I found our game, everybody. There we go. My god, it's perfect. I never knew we needed this in my life. Anthropomorphic Old West. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, let's Morpho. 7 Years War. Wooden Lab Dungeon Delve Adventures. Oh boy. A troika. Do people still... Oh my god, Maria! Maria's back, everybody! It's been so long, Maria! Hello, Maria! It's been so long since I saw you in your giant titty models. Man, Maria... Pièce de résistance. You're the reason why I come back every time. Maria, why are you so amazing at your job? I'm amazed by you, Maria. You really are the real OG. You're the real gamer. Let's see. Fantasize Old West setting with furry twist. Oh no. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Bradley. Leo Bradley. Oh, man. Oh, there you are, man. There's Mr. Bradley. There's the guy making the furry RPG. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let's learn. He gave us his life story. Okay, so placed on innovation and empowerment. Mix and match species, occupation, and nationalities. Oh boy, I can be a German furry now. Awesome, I love it. You shot someone, stole something, you end up being hunted down, and might end up on trial. Then totally unique party and world. Another drinking intoxication system is bounties and crime system. You have a drinking and intoxication rules. Let's see. USD here. Western Trails is funny, and it's... I don't really know what the system is. Like, let's see. Can I zoom in on the system at all? Okay. All right, everyone. We're going deep, everybody. I have to open up paint.net. Wait a second. Wait a fucking moment. Hold up. Wait a... No. No, you're not. Because there's a strength, dex, con, and I'm seeing a fortitude, reflex, and will save there. You can't hide that from me. Looks like there's like an AP system, like an action point system, and like an HP system. Yeah, it looks like it's the whole 9 yards. He's making a 3rd edition game. Damn it. He can't keep getting away with it. Yeah, no, that might happen, that might not. I don't know. Furries, man. Nothing Pathfinder. It's like Pathfinder, but its own thing. It might be a Pathfinder game. He's not calling it a Pathfinder game, if that is the case. Let's see. A Lovecrafty 5e, no. Greek mythology, Tome of Magic, Heroes Kingdom, 5e. Oh. Let's do this. Let's see. You can design the first nuke. Different amount of junk cards, draw different amounts. I mean, the artwork is not... Oh. That's just Japan. From USA manufactured from the USA game designer, Japanese bored about nuking each other. It's just pottery. All right, you know what? Game on, my brother. Battle of Guadalcanal. Figures of the Sun King, Analog, Better Tank Duel. Wait, $50. This is a print and play game for $50. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to make a wild guess. Yep, right there, baby. Knew it. He didn't. See, this is a very smart decision, by the way. If you ever want to game, if you ever really want to game the system on Kickstarter, you do this. This is how you do it. Because what he's doing effectively is he's charging a minimal amount because it looks like now he's raised over like 120%, but it's not talking that's $50. He literally just put this back out. This is barely a month old from the last time he failed. These are what you're really buying. He doesn't need $50. That's the thing. He needs $2,534, or more accurately, 2,497 euro. That's what he wants. But that's what he's not going to get. He's going to do a print and play thing. That's what he's getting a hold of. That's a smart move. It's also fucking annoying. Singapore. 5e5e. Dicey monster food save ice dice. Ooh boy. Ooh. Give me treasure. Oh boy, everybody. It's my favorite time of the day in which I get to try to interpret what the fuck is going on. The Japanese board game. Like, is it like a trick-taking game? It looks like a trick-taking game. It looks very cute. I give it that. It's a very cute game. So usually what happens with these kind of games is it's whoever plays like the most valuable thing is going to end up getting something. But again, it's kind of hard to tell because it's in fucking Japanese. Like, you don't know when the payout's ever going to be. So it's like if you get all of the thing, I think this is probably how you win, is you get all the loot in that case. And you're trying to determine who gets it via the stick or something. I mean, it looks very pretty. I'm going to say that right now. This game looks adorable. Holy shit. Oh god, why is it... Oh, why is it so cute? Fuck, why is it so cute? Man, I do love me... I do love me cute-ass games, though. You should be in Fluid and Weeb by now. Like, if I were to really go into, like, Deep L and stuff, I could probably interpret it. It'd be, more accurately, it'd have to be Yandex, probably. If I go into Yandex... I could probably get a hold of it. It's literally... The game is called Give Me the Treasure, so... I'm making a broad assumption that it's probably a game about getting treasure. So usually I'm pretty good about interpreting this game design sense. So I'm like, immediately I'm thinking trick-taking game. It's more about trying to pay the least to get the most. A tactical sci-fi board game. Oh, that looks rough, brother. Oh my god, that's a frog man with a laser gun. Kino, best game ever. Don't need any other game. Patchwork games. 10 unique races, broader sense. Broader than more creative based on 1,000 rehashes of fantasy orcs, elves, dwarves, and demons you come see every revolving year. Oh, that's a good way to ingratiate yourself. Oh, human. The vanilla ice cream of... Oh, we don't have basic orcs. There are no basic orcs in my setting. However, don't look at my green man. He's not an orc. He's a cyber orc. Very different. Very unique. Oh, basic class system. And oh god, the soy. I mean, he looks like a great guy. It's not an orc, guys. The Cat Cthulhu. Funny. Get it? Because it's Cthulhu, but it's Cat Cthulhu. It's very funny. Very funny. A Fox where you Weimar, the fight for democracy. Oh boy. Time to join the Weimar Republic. Can we play the gamers? I want to, guys, if I can't play the gamers, really, what's the point? Asymmetrical and often contradictory. Democratic politics will stabilizing the state, removing poverty, but if you play a non-democrat, you'll score for coups and unrest. Benjamin Blotcha. Good old Weimar Republic. Even though it's a fun word to say, isn't it? Weimar Republic. Proxy war. Animiracles, everybody. Animiracles. The legacy of you. Oh my god, guys. Boys. Slime Girls Collection Japanese card game. Oh, what the fuck is up with your eyes? What the fuck is up with your eyes? That's like some AI art. That's some like AI art shit. What the fuck is going on there? I don't like that. Ah! Hey, oh. What? We're working on creating a new Speemate card game designers pack Slime Girl. The wonderful AI illustration is done by Midjourney. What? They're using AI art to do it? That's weird. Like, that's really weird. Like, Spira Material card game. Spira Material card game. This is what they are. I can't find anything on that. Like, where would you be? Like, all I see is like a fucking eBay link. Like, just in Japanese. Like, here's the rule book, apparently. You need to sign into fucking Board Game Geek. Spira made online. No, this is him. Is this him? What? No, that's not. That can't be him. What? Who are you? See, now I'm getting curious, everybody. Now I'm getting curious. I mean, I guess we can do... We do the gamer option. Just do that. So they did do a Kickstarter, though. It's on Booth. Booth is usually... You usually find something interesting on Booth. It's like, yeah, this is the Japanese Kickstarter. It made its money. Like, it's clearly a card game. I clearly see all that. It doesn't look like it's AI art originally. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's AI art initially, anyway. Actually, is it? Is it? No, that's just fucking illustrated by someone. Yeah, this is the card game. Like, you can buy the card game here. What the fuck is this? Looks like it's like clearly there's some cards. Like, you can probably buy sets of it. All right, interesting. When in doubt, go to Deep L. Layaway funding category. Okay, so it looks like they were doing like layaways for this game. Interesting. Let's watch YouTube, everybody. No, we're not listening to the voice, though. Like, oh, wow. That looks rough. It looks like it's a card game, obviously. It's a card game. These are your signature cards, I guess, or like what you're supposed to be doing. Show me what's in the box. Show me. Okay, these are all the card decks. This is what you bought on Kickstarter. You bought all these card decks and flip them around. Flip them around right now. God, those look awful. Jesus, those look terrible. Yeah, okay. It looks like you... There is a back to it, so it looks like you shuffle them in kind of thing. Like, that's how you form your deck. You form from your, like a hero card and then, like, a base deck, and you fold them all together. That's, like, your deck. So anytime you need to take them out, though, what you do... What you would end up doing is you take it and then take out all the specific cards. So it's like an LCG. I guess it would be like an LCG, then. Then why the fuck are you doing this then, mate? Yeah, Create Cards game, Spite Might Spear represents his new work, Work Cat Overfield, ranked 5th weekly sales. In yellow, semi-worth the Arena of the 5 hero, now available for free. His work, Super King Machines, second in number of vote, valuation, New World Game Market 2018, Osaka, speedmate.com. Yeah, this is the only other one he has done. This is him. This is the guy. Okay. How do you search by tabletop? You don't. You in Kickstarter anyway, what you have to do is once you hit the games tab, you do explore games. I'm in Japanese, by the way. Give me 1 second. Kickstarter has decided that I am now Japanese. So let's so what we gotta do, we go to Deutsch. Welcome to Deutschland. Unga bunga, hello. I'm gonna go back to English. You hit explore games, and then when it says show me games, you hit that, and then you can do subdivision by tabletop games. Is this reliable? Absolutely not, though. You gotta remember that. It's not reliable. Let's see, based AI card game. Decks for my dick, weeaboo, desu. Yeah, like, I'm getting the idea, like, this is the guy, this has to be him. The card, yeah, it's clearly a card game, and he won a bunch of awards for it. Like, there's clearly, like, interest in it, I guess, but, like... Oh, there's the card list. Okay, let's translate to English, everybody. Battle videos and SNS, tournament articles, Speedmate online. Can you play this online? No, you can't play it online. This is just back to the website. So here's all the card lists. It looks like you don't actually get like a very big hand in any... You probably get a bunch of generic cards, but you don't actually have that big of a hand necessarily. Or like these are just like sample cards. It'll be like, hey, look how cool this looks. Not gonna lie, art not great for 2 people, 3 people according to some special rules. Remade 2014, remade in 2019. Your opponents build a pile of 5 or more cards from 15. So you only get 15 cards. Okay, so it's you effectively have 15 health because any damage you deal is reduces the number of cards in your hand. Let's do. See, this is I always get fascinated in these games because I always am curious. I always got to know more about them because I find these fascinating. Like SNS battle videos, like this is like a 20 like with relaxing card game with couples. Hey, Shinzo Abe in his dying word wants you to play fucking Speedmate with your wife. Don't worry, card games will win your heart win her heart. It's weird that this is being like AI artwork. This is weird. And like how much it like 15,000 yen. Like that's a decent chunk of money. Like 15,000 yen. That's about $100, and you get the full. You get 2 of the full collections, but like, oh god, it's sex jazz. What is that under those eyes? Yeah, Midjourney can't eyes. Like, this is really odd. Like, I guess it's like the idea that he wants to like see. Oh, board game. Jesus Christ Almighty. Yeah, I can't wait till I can't wait till this is on, you know, Tabletop Simulator. Hello, thank you, Shintash. Shintash1, thank you for subscribing. And Dex from Ed. Yeah, it's just odd because like you have an artist and then you're decided to do like AI artwork for it, and that's kind of weird. Mostly for like a card game where that's like a big part of it. That's the part that's like, see how miniatures. I don't like where this is going. That's a fucking zine. Looks like it's a weird zine thing. Yeah, it's a solo play zine thing. 5e5 Chainsaw Gals. All right. This reminds me of those weird NFTs. The CryptoPunks, I think that's what they were called. They were making like $8 grillion every year, every minute. But then the NFT market proceeded to kill itself with a fucking tactical shotgun to the back of its throat. You know how it goes. Arc Chosen. Yeah, it looks like it's a lot of. Yeah, okay, we've already been over some of these. Yeah, nothing on Kickstarter. All right, gamers, we got to make a decision. Do we want to go to itch.io or no? I'll let you all decide. Please, don't make me go to itch.io. I'm begging you, please. Oh, Jesus. No, fuck you. You know what? Yeah, let's do itch.io. Itch.io can't be that bad, he says to himself, fully knowing it will be that bad. I'm actually recommended I go through drive-through as well. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go through drive-through, actually. Give me 1 second as I log back into drive-through, because for some godforsaken reason, drive-through keeps logging me out randomly. But yeah, okay. Itch.io. Physical, not tools. That tools could be actually useful. Physical games. New and popular. Survival. Horror. Funnel mission for compatible with Fist. What the fuck is Fist? Freelance Infantry Strike Team, $10. 1 referee and 2 to 6 players, heavily off-worlders and World of Dungeons. Paranormal Mercenaries, brutal action, tactical operations. That looks very, it seems very, tight, we'll say. Very, very tight. Submission to the bundle submission for indie bundle of, for abortion funds. Okay, guys, do not call it that. Anything else but the abortion fund. God, holy shit, people. Yeah, no, hazard function, funnel mission for Fist, about human augmentation. So, yeah, it's compatible with Fist. When he burns the engine of natural selection, once only a chosen few will live to become Fist. Okay, so neat. Pamphlet game, cool, don't care. Do I want it? Let's see. Oh, wait a second. Is that oh my god, that's Spanish. Oh my god, it's built on the classic survival horror video games. Never heard of this one before, but you can definitely get it right here, I guess. Neat. There's another one. God, I hate it so much. A Room Realm, Sector Sheets, Printable Sci-Fi Sector Sheets. Kobayashi's Travel Oracle. By String and Side. Bardo 1 page. No. HXG. Hardcore Gunplay. Semi-realistic system agnostic gunplay. I don't like where this is going. It's not been play tested yet. Yeah, many such cases. I don't know about you, Ethical Explosives. This is also a Lumen adjacent. Of course it's a Lumen adjacent thing. It's always Lumen fucking adjacent. Fights, dash game, roll to escape. Headwear. Card commander. Harder. Funeral rites. Yeah, I'm not seeing really anything that's really really inspiring the mind, if you catch my drift. Nothing's really jumping out at me and being like, yeah, gamers, this is it. Let's see, the blue, let's see, yeah, no, I'm not seeing anything here. Gunplaya. Los give me 1 second as I attempt to say this. Los extraterrestres han conquistado el planeta. Los principales héroes de la Tierra mueren intentando defenderla. Los villanos con suficiente poder inteligencia para hacer algo sejano lagardo. La Unitza Esperanza que nos equides es I can't speak Spanish, people. I'm doing my best. I just gave someone a fucking stroke. Let's see, challenge board game. Look, everyone, it's legally distinct Deadpool. I think the idea is like you're a bunch of superheroes fighting against like an alien monster. I mean, I like the look of it. It's cheesy. It's dumb. It looks stupid, but I'm kind of in. Vixem ultimo sistema redelico de regales dando más importancia las relaciones entre las personas. Sussy. It's sus. They said the funny word. Okay, I'm done. They said the funny word. Sus. Sussy. Anyone from Spain just had anyone from who speaks Spanish probably just had a stroke, or anyone from Brazil just had a stroke of me attempting to pronounce all of that poorly. I don't speak Spanish. Unfortunately, I'm very German in my pronunciation. I'm not really seeing anything exciting here. Nothing's really grabbing. Loot some dungeon, lose some friends. A lot of Latin Americans on itch. I find that always interesting when you see a lot of Latin Americans on this, which I don't hate. Here's the thing: I don't hate the fact that there's more out there. I hate the fact that it's like everyone's kind of getting condemned here. So people, it's a circular thing, being like, you have to put it here, and it's like you have to put it here. Therefore, you have to play the game of here. That means everything looks the same. So people always put it here. That's always kind of an annoying thing. Okay, let's see. Is there anything? Let me see. There should be a way to see like new. Is there anything new? Newest print, like newest print. Like hottest small press. Like let's see. Is like what's the hottest small press? Let's see. Is there And there has to be something brand new and exciting, right? Something so brand new that it's impossible to see any... Oh. Seen you before. Osprey. Osprey Games, Grand Mercatsima, Clockpunk Role-Playing in Da Vinci's Florence. Osprey, why do you publish all these bizarre games at random hours and nobody knows anything about them? Jackals has been on my list forever. I would love to go over Jackals. It's on an Ancient Era one. I mean, I'm down. Frost, like, usually that's like, Frostgrave. Yeah, alright, cool. I mean, Lion Ramp. Like, I would like to go over some of these games, but it's like, no one talks about them. Like, small scale battles. Like, this is a war game, I think. I don't think this is an RPG. This is a war game. Why is it on Osprey? Why are you publishing it on here? Osprey, what are you doing? Yeah, this is like where Righteous Blood and Ruthless Blades, which I didn't actually much care for. But like, Osprey's been being weird. Like, they've been publishing a lot of these like they do these historical RPGs like out of nowhere. And they'll kind of look vaguely the same. They're not the same artists at all, so I'm curious to like why that's the case. Orc Warfare. What? Cool. That's neat. Yeah, that's really everything. Newest free and pay what you want titles. Sludge Dogs Volume 1. Heard exclusively on Drive-Thru RPG, newest community titles, newest print titles. Look, wow, look at Bride for Dracula, cool. Every now and again you see something weird on here and you're like, what the fuck? Hottest small press. Nightly Order overview, Iron Sworn. Iron Sworn sounds really familiar. That's the Iron Sworn guys. Yeah, this is the solo game that everyone loves. Yeah, okay. World building zine. Oh. Hard suit. Yeah, it looks like it's a lot of small press stuff. Yeah. See, oh, Moto Bushi. I remember this one because I remember this came out and nobody talked about it. I didn't even know it was on here. I'll have to yell at Luca to find that for me. Look, everybody, it's Sigmata. Justice Velocity. Personalized suggestion, because it always knows. See, my personalized suggestions are all this cursed ass games that it keeps telling me about. Because it damn well knows that these are the games like. What? This came out? No, this is Tales from the Far West. No, this isn't the game. This is no, this isn't what I thought it was. Still amusing. Justice Velocity. Yeah, it's shit like this. Like, this is the kind of shit I look for. I love these kind of games. I love the weird shit I find on Drive-Thru sometimes. Because sometimes it's impossible to find some of these. Like, they're just not games that exist. And sometimes they just are hard to find. We'll call it there for today. Thank you all for watching. My name is, as always, Notepad Island. I will see you all on Monday, in which we will continue Void Haunters, our Void Haunters experience. I will probably... Oh, wait a second. I know what I have to do. I completely forgot. All right, everybody. It's the moment of truth. Very important. I almost forgot that it was... It's over. It's Jover. All right, everybody. Oh, Jesus. So, we get to tally up the responses, everybody. Okay, are you ready for what's going to be on our list? Okay, we got our convenient little scorecard here. Everybody, clap your hands. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put one ping out to the world. At patrons, the fi the final minutes of voting is upon us. If you haven't voted yet, now's the last time to do it. Democracy demands blood. There we go. Give the patrons one last moment. So, okay, moment of truth. Which brings me very, very specifically. I have to open up another thing here real fast. Give me 1 second. I gotta open up this. I gotta open my desktop up. Then I gotta find all my documents because I am a. Is this the right one? Yes. Okay. So, funnily enough, the games here were all very specific about what was being actually put out there. So if we look at the questions, here are all of the games that were potentials. And I'm going to go in order of what they were to give everybody the idea. Now, some of these you may already know. Some of these you may not know. Because each of them kind of have their own little bit of something going on with them. So our first one, the $5 footlong, Subway footlong with yogurt on the side, was actually Crisis Heroin Yogurt and Subway Edition. That is going to be the official name of it. Yes, Crisis Heroin did win. It's kind of the last moment of it. Crying, sobbing face emoji was Urchin Queen's Carnival Requiem. Gardevoir maxing was actually Nautomons. Yes, Nautomons. The Consume the Corpse of God is called Zombies and Ziggurats, which was a really creative name that I thought anyone would have taken, but they haven't, so I'm going to make a weird OSR, but completely not OSR game with it. Which did lead into the AFL simulator, which was going to be called Kill Ball. Yes, Kill Ball, which is an RPG war game thing, which is literally a sports game. This did also lead to Top of the Food Chain, a reoccurring one called Top of the Food Chain, which is it's a solo war game about cavemen hunting things. I thought that would be fun. Corpo Romantico di Trupe Volenteros was actually Songs of the White Carnations. Yeah, Song of the White Carnation. Now, that was the official ending ones. Patrons didn't actually get the opportunity to even vote on these ones because Embracing My Alter Ego was actually kind of a meme one, which is, let me see, that was kind of the meme option for this, the VTubia, because I do have like a VTuber thing that I had kind of in the background. So don't worry, everybody. So we've established what they are. Let's look at the responses. $5 footlong with 4 votes. Strong start. Gardevoir maxing, however, continues with 4 votes as well. Corpo di Romantios ends up with 3. Embracing My Alter Ego. 1 person voted for Embracing My Alter Ego. Zombies and Ziggurats scored 1 point. The AFL simulator scored 1. Nothing for Top of the Food Chain, nothing for Gardevoir maxing. What a shame. All right, everybody. We'll give them a few more minutes. Again, 14 votes. This is pretty good. Crisis Heroin and Urchin Queen Carnival currently on the top of the leaderboards. So, but don't worry, all of these can still get. The patrons do have an absurdly large more votes than all of you combined. And literally this voting requires collective effort. If the people collectively work together, they will overpower the patrons, but they never do, and that's the best part. Human nature will always trump natural human beings. So, Patreon, everybody. Welcome to my Patreon. Yes, this is what I do. 8 patrons. Let's see how they voted. So, we will do to the, I believe we have to start off with the lads. Let me do this in particular. I need to I need to double check and just make sure that everything is correct. I do the memberships. Yes, it's lads, connoisseurs, then large lads. So if we go under this idea, we need to start with the lads, everybody. Let's go to the lads. 2 votes goes immediately to Crisis Heroine situation. Yep, good job, everyone. 2 votes immediately to Crisis Heroine. That's the only person who voted. Now, this brings us to connoisseurs. No connoisseurs voted, actually. No connoisseurs. I do have at least 1 connoisseur. I don't really see him. Ironside. New Ironside. My man. My gamer. As a large lad, you get 6 times the vote. That means he is worth 6 votes. Yes, Ironside is worth 6 votes, everybody. And Ironside voted for Crisis Heroine, bringing it up to 12. Crisis Heroine has a significant lead at this point. However, will that lead hold? Because we need to go to the Zombies and Cigarettes pulls ahead with 1, and Songs of the White Carnations ends up with 10 as well. Wow, everybody. We got some good ones today. Let's see it. Let's double check all the votes, make sure everything is good. Yep, this is it. This is all the votes that currently went in. Is there any final votes? Nope, I'm not seeing any more votes come in. Probably is going to have to delay a little bit. We'll see if the last ones, come in. So currently, the 3 that won was Songs of the White Carnations. Just barely pulling ahead with 13 votes. Then leading into Crisis Heroine. Yeah, I'm going to have to redo Crisis Heroine, the yogurt and Subway edition. Which most likely what'll happen is this is also going to be kind of its own thing of me compiling it. Because it's on, the original wiki is dead at this point. It's a recovery project at this point. It's going to go away if I don't do something. And finally ending off on Zombies and Ziggurats. Yes, congratulations, Zombies and Ziggurats. You barely pulled ahead with only 11 votes up to 4. Nautimons yet again receives 0 votes. Yeah, Nautimons unfortunately receiving 0 votes yet again. As well as Top of the Food Chain. Top of the Food Chain may need to get a redux, because nobody fucking votes for that game. So, as of right now, here are the voting results. Congratulations, everyone. Democracy prevails. So here are the basic voting results. I will post these ones out there. So thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. I will come back on Monday. We will have some more fun time making ships. That's pretty much what the entirety of Monday is going to be dedicated to, is just ships. So thank you, Godspeed, good luck, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Goodbye.